All right, folks, welcome back. Gfinity Spring Masters #1. Stop it, you two. I'm
like
trying to
that?
be all serious. Cut. Shh. Welcome back. No. All right. You guys are, I love you and I hate you at the same time. It's crazy. If you guys could only hear what we talk about and what goes on in this room when we're not on camera, it would be far more entertaining. If you like this, wait, yeah, whoo, we should sell this. Talk about, it's DLC content one time and then we're out of a job.
No.
Yeah, we kind of don't. All right, so let's get into it.
My career's actually survived the release of unfaulted material before. Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So, a quick recap of the first time they played.
Okay.
They played Cash. Orbit won it 1917. Cloud9 picked Inferno. 16-9 was a victory for them, and then they did Cobblestone as well, and that was a 16-6 for them. So, what do you guys, again, we're still waiting for the vetoes and the maps, but you think we're going to go down the same road? And if not, who's going to mix up what?
I mean, listen, if I'm thinking from Cloud9's point of view, not a neutral observer, the first thing I definitely do here is just ban Cash. Why even play it when it was not only... Like, here's the thing. You might look at that score and go, well, they lost in overtime.
Yeah.
No, they lost in overtime when nothing dropped 50 frags, and they still lost. Now, he's not going to drop 50 frags again. Therefore, don't even risk it, you know. Instead, I'd just ban directly. Play anyone else. Like, it doesn't even matter at this point in time. Whereas if you're in a world where you're the Orbit guys, obviously you want to play Cash again. So that should be a contested pick in terms of that. The rest of the series... I don't really know what Orbit can change in that sense. Like, I think those were maps that seemed decent for them. So for Cloud9, yeah, just get rid of Cash and just take your chances on anything else. Anything else. Even Cobblestone they just played well on. Overpass, who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, you know, I don't know if this is accurate, but if Orbit were they watching that game? I mean, they would have been watching it, right?
I would if I was Orbit. I'd be sitting there because you're playing one of them, right?
I mean, that's something to worry about as well. That's an advantage for Orbit that wasn't there when they first played them. A chance to actually sit down, disseminate the tactics, work out how they're going to approach the games. So I think Lauren's right. Now I think Cloud9 need to be really smart. It's probably worth throwing in a curveball because they've just seen what strats they're going to utilize on, you know, three particular maps. I can imagine, you know, we're definitely going to see Cobble eliminated. Orbit struggled on that map, we know, and they're a mixed team.
And Cloud9 just beat Virtus.
Yeah, exactly. So Cobble's gone.
Those should be the two first bans for each game.
And I think if Cloud9 have any sense, they're going to eliminate Cash as well. But where it goes from there, I don't really know. Like, where can you go? You know, you're playing a mixed team. Do you want to risk Dust 2 as Cloud9? I'm not so sure you do. Then you've just seen absolutely woeful performance on Inferno. Plus, Orbit are going to have a very good idea about your CT setup and how it all works, so they're going to be able to counter you. This is a nightmare for Cloud9 right now.
And on Nuke, they got utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they're running out of places to go.
Does Orbit,
Where can you hide?
Spin the nuke wheel? I mean,
I think it'd be worth it. Bearing in mind, Cobblestone probably gets eliminated.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Because they're going to eliminate themselves.
Cobble 100% is going to go.
If I were them, I might just pick Nuke. Just pick something you've seen them have real trouble on.
And I know it's a lesser team, but Orbit beat Infused on Cash, so that's definitely, like you said, get rid of Cash.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they 16-9'd them on Inferno. So they lost to Cloud9 in Inferno, but they beat Infused. Now, again,
that is Infused's strongest map. But
it is, okay.
But it's got to be said, I mean, again, Infused, they were here for a day out.
No disrespect.
Take a few selfies and go home, and we love them dearly. I used to manage Infused, you know, so a lot of love for the organisation. That's not disrespectful, but they're not an elite level team. So, you know, I think Orbit are going to be feeling pretty good, whichever way this goes. You know, Cloud9 now need to throw in a curveball, you know, a Mirage or something. Something's got to come.
That would be a good pick, yeah.
Yep, I think something's got to be dredged up here. Cloud9 need to play to their strengths. Like, we're a team, okay? We're a team. We're the team with the experience. We go to these events all the time. Orbit have just been put together. They got a 1.6 player who's coming in as a strat caller. He's going to take some time to adapt. So what we need to do is we need to pick maps that we have the advantage on, maps that require, you know, or communication and cohesion, all the things they've been lacking.
Yeah.
Okay, but technically should have. And that's how you catch Orbit out. So, you know, if I'm Cloud9, I'm picking maps that haven't been played yet this tournament, something Orbit can't have possibly anti-stratted against in the time that they've had time watching. So I think Mirage could be a good pick for Cloud9, and Overpass as well.
Problem there being that Overpass in general isn't played by North American teams for some weird reason. They've always tended to ban it. So, I mean, with that, that's a risk you want to take, though, because they can't have watched any demos of you on it. Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad, actually.
If you just think about it, man-to-man on paper, like, no disrespect to Orbit. I mean, Pythe's been immense so far this tournament, no doubt. And, I think is it Maxi as well, who's had some good moments, apparently, from some of the other games that some of the players were telling me. And in that Infused game, apparently, he was very, very good. So he's coming in with hot hands. But, I think Cloud9, on paper, is a stronger team, man for man. Should be anyway, theoretically. Yeah. So I think what they need to do is, like I say, they just need to pick maps that Orbit can't possibly get a competitive edge against them for. I think that's the play here. I think you really got to just ban the maps that you can't compete on. You're not going to match them on cash. That much is easily established at this point, and just throw in the curveball that maybe Orbit can't counter.
Yeah, and again, we're waiting for...
I'm still waiting for the vetoes.
The vetoes. I just got word that Cloud9 is actually not in the venue right now, so they probably walked to have a smoke break, get out of the building, because obviously they have to do a super reset now. I mean, so we don't... It'll be a few more minutes before we know the maps.
That's a bad sign, basically. If you ask me. I mean, it's like, again, I've been there. I've coached teams, I've managed teams. I've been around them a lot. I think that's actually a bad sign that you can't get back. That the reset is taking this much time. Like, obviously, it's good to get away, get out some oxygen,
fresh air, all good stuff.
Fresh air, refresh yourself. But they're not chomping at the bit here. They're trying to delay this. This is like a stay of execution right now, what they're doing. And that, psychologically, again, that points to they're worried going into this game. And when you think about what we're talking about, Team Orbit versus Cloud9, you should be backing Cloud9 all the time. There isn't a CS fan out there that shouldn't be going for Cloud9. Cloud9 right now aren't backing Cloud9. It's terrifying if you're a North American fan.
Yeah. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and just want to get more to a general question that I always like to ask different stuff for you guys. Another thing that's always talked about and compared to Valve's assistance of, the international, you see the LCS with a big world championship, StarCraft, WCS leads to a big championship at BlizzCon. What are your thoughts on a Counter-Strike Go international, if you will, versus or in conjunction with how we're doing it now with majors?
To me, it's the key thing is what you said at the end there. Is it an either or? Is it, do we have 3 majors or the international? Or is it 3 majors and then an international at the end of the year or something like that? Now, the second one, 3 majors, what we have now and an international, well, I'm not going to complain about another amazing tournament, even bigger with more money that leads into, great, that's better for everyone. If it was instead, then I wouldn't want that, because what I actually like, believe it or not, is, someone said to you, oh, it's a shame you don't have a world championship in CSGO. I'd go, no, we do, mate, we have 3. Yeah. So as a result, if someone wins 1 and it's a fluke, well, we find out when they play the other 2, we find out of the rest of the year. We never have the scenario that unfortunately you have in a game like League of Legends, especially where there's not many international tournaments, where if a team won and it was a fluke, you wouldn't know for maybe a year. So for a year, everyone's like, that's the best thing. In history, they'll be like, that was the year. They were the dominant team. They just won 1 tournament. Yes, it was the biggest tournament, but, So I prefer to have a lot of tournaments you play at. So in that sense, if it was an either or, I like having the 3.
Gotcha.
So you're just spreading it out among 3. But if it was added to it, it was this then yeah, I'd love to have the majors as they are. Maybe put them further in the year because there's the big 6-month gap between the Katowice and Cologne. Maybe push them further more in the year and just have the one massive one at the end. And then, hey, maybe then even that helps the final because you could use it like WCS style where the points from these other majors qualify.
Yeah, you qualify
There's a lot of upside to that. So I'd like it if it was an extra thing, like maybe just crowdfund that or something. But I don't want them to say like, oh, there's too many majors now. We need to collapse
take this
them
$1 million for a year and plus.
It's a unique thing that CS has that no other game has. We have the 3 world championships right now.
It would be a catastrophic misstep, I think, to switch to purely an international like Dota team has had, the Dota scene has had. Sorry, and I think if you look at it. It's a fantastic event. For many people, it's viewed as the Super Bowl of esports. It does get a lot of hype. The huge prize fund brings the mainstream media in. Everyone talks about it. Everyone gets hyped. If you watch one esports event and you're not an esports fan, everyone says, you watch the international. But actually, what does it really do? It sort of devalues all the other tournaments you've got. And if we looked at Dota 2, I think there was something like, at last count this year, there's going to be like 57 LAN tournaments or something. It works out as they've got a massive oversaturation, and of course the international becomes the be all and end all. So some people won't enter tournaments. Then they have to increase their prize fund. Creates this very uncertain scene. And I think the system we've got at the moment, where you have these majors, at set times, and everybody, knows when they come in and what's going to be happening. You got the sticker money for it, and you got the pick 'em bets and everything. That for me is a much better system for Counter-Strike. We get great storylines coming and going. It just, for me, it's perfect. However, I agree with Duncan. If you add an international right at the end and somehow there's a weighting that if you win a major, you automatically get an entry into there, and if you finish second, you get points, some sort of weighting system, I think that could really work. And I'd love to see how far the Counter-Strike community could go with a crowdsourced prize pot. Could we get close to Dota amounts of money, ridiculous amounts of money, life-changing amounts of money? But then I also think you've got a responsibility to have qualifiers from some of the underdeveloped regions. It'd be nice to see another Indian team get there or a Brazilian team get there. You've got why not a South African team? You've got a responsibility to then ensure that the opportunities are there for everybody, because Counter-Strike's a global game.
South Africa? Why not all of Africa? Rich?
Well, North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, all of Africa. But traditionally where we know there's Counter-Strike established teams and organisations. So but to swap out what we've got for an international would be bad. And interestingly enough, just on that point, there was an interview towards the end of last year with Valve, I think, in PC Gamer magazine, where Valve was strongly hinting we were going to see some international equivalent this year. Now, it was only hinting, and Valve have been hinting about like Half-Life 3 and everything else for a long, long time. So, maybe you take that with a liberal pinch of salt. But, maybe there is going to be something a bit extra special at the end of this year, or certainly perhaps moving into it, they announce for next year, something like that. So I wouldn't rule it out, but we've got a great thing going here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and I echo both of you. Win-win if you add it, and a detriment if you take all of this away and just have it.
Even just for viewers, think about it. Someone always does a chart, and it's always accurate, where after every major, they always show like game player base peaks. And obviously, we've broken the record for viewers every single time. Well, that means 3 times a year we've got a chance to break the record. It's happening every time so far, like 6 in a row or something. So, well, 5.
5, yeah.
So take that away and just make it one tournament. I've no doubt that would break the record every time, but would we see the same increase? I actually think it probably does more for the game to have these 3, because I know people, who they only watch the majors. Like they're fans of League of Legends or something. So if the major's on, they're like, I watched it. And then, they don't follow the tournaments between. They don't know the storylines. So like, sometimes they'll ask me like, what was that team doing? But they come back every 3 months though. And like that person only comes every year. It's not the same engagement really in that particular sense. So I like it at the moment. I always said before, my favorite model in sports is the tennis model, because they have the 4 Grand Slams, which are like the majors. Then they have all the other tournaments if you want them. But if you don't care about that, just watch the 4 or watch whichever of the 4 you enjoy. Know. So we've actually indirectly gotten to that in CSGO. We're basically where a lot of other sports wish they could be. It's not oversaturated with massive tournaments. It's got good hierarchy to it. And so I think that we're actually kind of in the ideal spot that a lot of other games wish they'd thought of that. So why move from that to a different system? It was cool 3 years ago.
One of the great sort of counter arguments to all the people who say betting and gambling and drops artificially inflating the numbers is every major you see it. It's there.
It's huge.
A boost in people who watch it for the first time. And the good thing about getting to do an analysis desk and stuff like this, one of the few good things about going on social media afterwards, because obviously there's a lot of great stuff to sift through. But one of the best things I enjoy reading is, hey Richard, that was really cool. That was my first major. And it's because there's this, they watch and then they follow in the 3-month, 4-month interim period for the next major. You've got a Counter-Strike fan for life there. That's how you organically grow a fan base. You have one big thing at the end that people kind of dip in, and then I'm bored for a year. Really, really going to harm the scene. Like, so I think we've got a great thing going here, and perhaps the way the major system works, perhaps Valve don't get enough credit for it actually, because I think this is as healthy a Counter-Strike scene as I think we've ever seen in the history of any iteration of the game.
Yeah, and again, it is crowdfunded. It is very cool. It's our esports case money.
It's also very kind. It's also very kind of Valve to let us give them like 750,000, and then they give us 250. It's magnanimous guys, and they're even willing to do it 3 times a year.
Amazing.
If there is an international now, you ain't going to be on the
I mean, we're killing it. And again, I agree. Like, I like the dangle of the carrot every 3 months, whether you're a team, a fan, that kind of casual fan. Because I'm the opposite. I mean, I'm just like that person, but game's opposite. Like, I will tune in to watch the Worlds of League of Legends. I don't watch it the rest of the year. I tune in for the production value and the spectacle of, and same thing with real sports. I won't watch some sports all year long, but I'll watch the World Series or I'll watch the NBA Finals. So again, I think kind of a no-brainer answer. I mean, I think it makes sense. But I'm going to now shift, since we're talking about the international, and obviously this word oversaturation is tied to Dota 2 right now, right?
Yeah, big time.
We? And we've got some really good organizations, but whether they're online and offline or offline, I mean, like it's like a bounty for us right now. I'll take that while I'm talking.
Yep.
And the question I would have is, are we oversaturated?
Okay.
Should we worry about it? Because teams are having to pick and choose. Fnatic took vacation time, said not coming to this one.
Yep.
Or is it just a matter of that's okay, and we'll see a variety of teams because they will say no to this, yes to this?
Well, I actually did a video on this exact topic. So if you go to YouTube and you put in Thorin's thoughts oversaturation, you'll find a video there.
That's awesome.
On this exact topic.
What channel is that? What's your YouTube channel?
Yeah, Thorin with 3 O's.
3 O's.
So basically the gist of what I said was, first of all, there's a technicality in Dota that makes it a problem, which is that in Dota, to get your invitation to the international, not have to play that hellish qualifier that's like a day before, you have to either win certain events beforehand, something along those lines. Like the people who win certain key events win it, but it's never announced beforehand which exact events will get you the spot. And you never know that you'll win an event, so you have to keep going. I want as many tickets as I can to try and get an international. We don't have that in CSGO, so that's not a problem for a start off. You get into the major by how you did on the last one, so that's that problem solved. So that wouldn't be oversaturation in that sense. Like, people don't have to play every event. And the key thing to me is that at the moment, it's because we all come from a scarcity mindset of like, there were never enough events. You've got to attend every event. But if you're Fnatic and you just want 100,000 and you don't want to burn out, maybe you do skip 1 tournament, 2 tournaments. So what will happen is the elite level teams can pick and choose. And if they drop out, basically by saying we shouldn't have more tournaments, you're saying like, oh, Orbit and Property, like, no, you shouldn't get a tournament to play in because Fnatic decides to drop out. But instead, they get a chance to play now. And maybe Orbit's going to beat Cloud9 now.
I mean, after Nip went on that ridiculously dominant run, they decided to drop out for a little bit because they were, close to burnout and they were having to kind of reinvent themselves, rejig themselves. Everyone had raised their game at kind of meet Nip. I don't think it's a problem yet, but there is this risk that we're going to bombard it with tournaments. I think the key thing is to have very clear, defined tournaments. So you've got tournaments that are big, that are going to have the best teams there, that have these phenomenal prize funds, but then you have slightly smaller tournaments where the top teams are actually on occasion going to say, we're going to bow out, or we'll treat that one like a boot camp, so they will come. And it gives the smaller teams an opportunity to get that money, get that experience, and that's going to be very important. Now, it's possible that we could end up next year if we, overstack our plate a little bit. We start talking about oversaturation, but we certainly aren't there yet.
Yeah, because again, we see teams that normally weren't having Counter-Strike teams jumping in. Everyone looks at our numbers, looks at the popularity and goes, oh, we should host a tournament. I mean, Gfinity, where we're sitting, a year ago was a Call of Duty, company basically, and they've obviously expanded far beyond just Counter-Strike.
1.1 million announcement is going to bring a lot more people to the dinner bell's been rang.
Because obviously everyone thinks you can get rich quick, and
I mean, I was going to say, Scott, when you're talking about, you're one of the realest mothers on this kind of scene, Scott, because you're talking about is oversaturation a bad thing? We're at like a tier 2 event that just announced 5 events for the year, Scott. Is it a bad thing that they're having more events, Scott? What do you think?
No, I don't think
Over to you.
I agree with you. I don't think we're oversaturated, and I think the Dota
definitely not this event anyway. Yeah. This event is fabulous. They should keep paying us. Some of those events that don't hire us, maybe there's too many of them. That's what I think. Shut a few of those down. Quite frankly.
Maybe the majors. If we're not there.
Those ESL majors. There's too many of those. I think they should only be DreamHack. Really,
but I think
that's my opinion. Yeah.
I think
maybe ESL 1 Cologne. That one's all right. I like the location for that one.
I'm hoping there's still a way back for me, Duncan.
You make a really valid point though, because people say Dota's oversaturated, but they don't go down the Valve doesn't say this, and this gets you in. And don't worry about the rest. It's very like you said, got to play everywhere. Okay, I got the maps. So that's
happened.
Good information. Thank you guys. So here we go. I'm going to read this a little slower so I don't screw it up. Okay, first ban by Cloud9 Mirage. First ban by Orbit Cobblestone, like you called. Second, we'll do bans first. Second ban, Orbit, Dust 2, Cloud9, Overpass.
That means Cash is going to be
Cash
played.
Is happening.
Orbit picks Cash.
Okay.
Cloud9 picked Nuke. And final map, Inferno.
They've lost their minds. I mean, like, I'm telling you right now, that pick and ban phase there that you've had for maps, it's like Cloud9. Seriously, if they do this, if they overcome this, fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe there is something about Cloud9, because that is the worst thing they could have done right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, we talked about, Orbit's Cash is great, and they got plowed on Nuke. So, wow, interesting stuff, to say the least. So, let's talk about, as we always do, like keys to victory here. Map 1. So again, we're talking.
Ask if you can do the veto
so again. Nuke.
Okay, I know what the key to victory is. Nothing has to get 52 kills, and then they probably could win. I think
in
52.
overtime.
Yeah, 52.
I mean, is that just them going, "Hey, that was just a bad nuke. We're way better than that." Maybe that is a reset. You know, maybe they. That's not our nuke game.
Was it Cloud9 who vetoed Overpass?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's a problem. Like I said, unfortunately, because NA teams like Cloud9 have been vetoing Overpass over and over, maybe they never play it, therefore they think it's not even a choice. So they feel like they're backed into a corner, like, oh, well, maybe they even naively think, hey, we were close to winning that cash game, and nothing's like, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Maybe. I agree, though. I think this is a really bad map draw for them. Like, there was so many other ways that they could have gone where, okay, it might be a weird choice or it might be one where we don't go with it that often, but I think gives them a better chance. Whereas this, I actually think, loads the deck for the potential upset.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, in the same way that we talked about Cloud9 should have been looking at the opportunity they had with Virtus Pro. You know, like we said, we keep talking about how the planets aligned and everything lined up for them. Orbit are now going to be rubbing their hands at the prospect of playing Cloud9 in this particular series because, you know, they've already shown what they can do on cash against them, and I don't think it demoralised nothing coming out of that Virtus Pro game is going to drop 50 frags again. I think that is, you know, that's going to be the high watermark of what has been for him a good tournament. But yeah, I think Orbit are going to be like, we're going to win cash, and I think they'll win cash. And then you go on a nuke, and they've just had a chance to basically anti-strat Cloud9 on nuke.
A nuke.
They've just sat there and watched it.
I mean, you think they did. We don't know, but I would have. I mean,
well,
I'm sure someone from Orbit was sitting in there. They had to have, or they were watching the stream or something.
Seriously, there's no way they didn't. There's no way. I mean, Orbit have been in the player lounge for most of the event between games. You know, they're looking very relaxed. Yep. You know, again, really enjoying themselves here, and they will have watched Cloud9 get absolutely mauled on nuke. They're going to know exactly how they line up on CT. They're going to know what strats they're running as T, and they're going to be there to shut it down. So unless they've got a completely different playbook. Or maybe the reason they were taking extra long in the break was they're going to try and add 1 or 2 strats on the fly or something.
So who's going to win, though? Who's
going to win this? Orbit's going to win this. Cloud9 have really done themselves
2-0?
over.
What do you call him? Again, nuke, cash, Inferno.
Do you know what? I feel like I've gone in quite a bit on Cloud9 from being quite a fan of them, but you know, just watching them choke against Virtus Pros just made me really question what they're even doing at the moment, and that map veto is horrendous. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Orbit. Why not?
Oh, here's the crazy thing. I'm actually going to go 2-0 Orbit as well. Like, yeah, listen, Virtus Pro isn't Orbit, but they played so badly there. I didn't feel like they even gave themselves a chance on those last 2 maps. Combined with Orbit looking good at least for cash. So yeah, I'm going to go with Orbit 2-0 as well. I'm going for the upset here, Scott.
All right, and again,
Come on, fly the flag for your boys, because we're giving them a hard time here.
No, but that would be just a patriotic pick and not necessarily like a logical one. And again, I think I agree. Like they know something we don't know. Why would you keep cash?
I mean, like he said though, listen, fair play. If they pull it off and it turns out they smash cash and then they win nuke, then they're geniuses and we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
From what I've seen today,
we'll pack up and go home and we won't be back tomorrow.
From what I've seen today, Orbit's going to win this series.
Yeah, and I will gladly be wrong on this one, but I'm just going to go a little different than you guys. I'm going to say it does go to 3 maps, but it's going to be Orbit 2-1.
Okay.
I think maybe they turn it around on cash, but or like that nuke. Obviously, maybe that nuke was a fluke. Nuke was a fluke. Boom. We're done. All right, guys. Anderson. I did say Anders is not here. It's Vendetta. It's the room on fire, guys. It's Semler and Vendetta.
There's that guy who looks like Anders.
Shout out to Semler because he hit me up with this sexy handkerchief to make me look a little better. So thank you, Semler. Semler and Vendetta, take it away.
Good looking out, man. Good looking out. I know. It happens to me, too. You know, it's like, I miss my big spoon, Ben. I miss my big spoon. He's not here with me.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Sad times.
Yeah, it's harsh. It's harsh. But, you know, the thing is that I'm really telling you, when we were just talking here, I was really regretting not picking up a particular tie because I found a tie, had a freedom bird on it, and the American flag waving behind it. I was like, dude, I gotta do this. And for some reason, I talked myself out of not picking up that tie. But really, when I see all 3 analysts go against Cloud9, that tie would have been perfect. That tie would have made the difference.
Well, actually, I just think hell froze over because Scoots is actually not back in American.
He's not back in Cloud9.
Yeah, it's actually
Scoots,
insanity.
what are you doing? You see, this is the thing, though. I mean, with Thorin, he should just be backing Cloud9 just to poke at Thorin, because that Thorin, there's like little fireworks going off where he's just like, this is faith-based. He is not. There's no reasonable, analytical backing to this decision. He's just doing it because of feel, because of his gut. It's like, but that's the thing. You have to do that to Thorin sometimes. You just have to have fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But,
I mean, you'd think Scoots would be up for that.
I guess because Scoots is within arm's reach.
Oh,
he doesn't want to risk it. Yeah, so there you go, guys. It's fun. It's fun. It's a great event here so far, actually, Gfinity. We've had a bit of bumps in the road, or rocks or giant boulders, but we've managed to overcome that, and now we're really just getting into some good CS. And we've had a close series. Well, close. Cloud9 did get mauled by VP. Let's not beat around the bush. They did get mauled. Now we have to see if they're going to be able to actually close it out versus Orbit, who they struggled against earlier today. So, Ben, what do you think, prediction-wise, between these two teams? Where do you think this is going to go?
No, actually, as you pointed out, they played earlier today, and Cloud9 actually came out of it, unscathed to a certain degree. I mean, they were, the guys at the desk were talking about how Cash was, Orbit's map, but they won in overtime. It's not like they had a convincing win.
It's almost as if it was like nothing,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, without nothing dropping, 94 frags,
What was it? It was like 74 and 48 or something like that. 74-48. His scoreline over those three.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But no, like half of the frags came on the first map.
Cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
So
he nearly
obviously,
40
obviously the numbers could have looked way worse than an overtime. But I guess I kind of have to keep hope alive in the sense that others will actually show up as well. But they touched on it in several of the segments they've had that when Cloud9 are winning at this tournament, it's because nothing is playing like a madman, and that has to change if they want to make it through. Right now, Orbit has had pretty even performances from all their players. There's obviously a couple of players that have come through in the clutch and that type of thing, but overall they're playing pretty well as the team. Cloud9 on the other hand are relying way too heavily on individuals.
Agreed. I mean, well, Sean Gares was one guy who stepped up, who seemed to step up for the team, versus Virtus Pro on this map. He had some good rounds, managed to get some good frags, and so he looked like he was feeling it. Nothing had a couple of moments here and there where he was able to have an impact. But you're right, it was as if one guy popped up and then it was, just whack-a-mole, all of a sudden, it's nothing's turned, then Sean Gares, but never all of them coming together. Yeah. And that's what needs to happen, because you just see how kittens flip out when all these things come popping out of a cardboard box. There you go. And are we into it already? Okay, well then. Guys, it looks like we are live with the pistol, and this is going to be the first round of this map. Team Orbit, Cloud9, and Cloud9 starting on the T side, and it looks like they did manage to go for an upper rush and get the bomb plant. So now it's down to the two remaining members here for Orbit to get this kill in, and Jumpy nearly takes out that man. Sean Gares down to 6 HP, but the flank comes in from Shazam over his Squeak, and they are going to be able to lock down the pistol. Cloud9 keeping the hopes alive, shutting down the haters.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about it in the studio. Cloud9 did get mauled by VP on this map. Just half an hour ago. So it's not like they, you'd think they'd go into this thinking, well, we're doing great on Nuke, but it's a very different beast playing VP, even though they're playing with a stand-in, than playing Orbit. And that's no offense to Orbit, it's just that VP are a top 4 team in the world.
Exactly. Taz. Michu, even though the stand-in, he seems to really be meshing well with the team right now, doing a lot of good work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whoa, that nade down to 50 HP. That hurts, Maxi. They're going to swap places. One thing we have to point out in the match earlier was that Pyth was the point man, it seemed, for Team Orbit. He was just locking on to heads everywhere, getting kills left and right. Some really clutch kills as well that led to an overtime situation that they barely eked out a win in. I mean,
the last time, last round of the actual overtime as well, that 1-on-3, that was absolutely insane.
That was madness. So, I mean, Pyth right now in a great shape. And it's going to be Stemphis here to pick up that kill. All in the man we just called out. Pyth, he gets nailed in mid. Or in main, rather. But upper side, it's Roke locking down this side. He's going to be able to get the drop on one player here. Shroud getting forced around the corner. Good shot there. Combination and another one. Almost as if it was an afterthought. He takes out Stemphis as well. But the bomb plant is going to happen.
So that's guaranteed money for Cloud9. And even though they're 1 man up, nothing is down to 7 HP. That's one tag.
See, Jumpy. He's doing good work with that P250. Managing to connect there. Shazam, he ended up dropping down fairly low. Maxi with the Deagle, though, if he runs into any of these guys, he can do some significant hurt. Like I'm saying. Oh, go for the wall bang as well, trying to get fancy here.
Yeah, no kit. It's not going to have a chance to actually do anything. It could potentially pick up Nothing's weapon in Squeaky, but
I think that's what he's got in mind. Look, he's just backing up just far enough, and he's going to have run in. I wonder if he's going to be able to make it. Scoping around, and oh, he just barely misses out on it. That was close. Good, smart play, though, from him.
Yeah, good idea. Absolutely. And, I mean, yeah, so far, pretty decent deco from Team Orbit. They managed to hang on to Maxi's Deagle. So not too shabby at all. Cloud9, though, obviously, they should be able to win these, 2 eco rounds. Shouldn't be too much of a trouble. But we've seen it throughout the entire tournament. Pistol plus armor equals deadly combination for your opponent.
Tech 9 in particular, right? And we can see right now they're kind of skimping on that Cloud9. Only Semphis and Shazam, just going for the Tech 9 5-7 combo. But they're managing to do some good work here. As Shroud is just leading the charge right now. Sean Gares gets a good kill on Jumpy and Ramp. That's going to open up options here. But this is currently a 5v2. And Orbit right now, they're kind of just floating around looking to see if they can catch somebody off guard. They do hear the steps upper, and there you go. Rogue trying to take that fight. He's got a man on Cat to support him as well. And USP long range takes Shroud down to 2 HP. But they will not be able to get the kill. So that's the kind of round that Cloud9 were looking for to bounce back in.
Oh, absolutely. And, they've gotten off to a solid start on the worst side, possibly in CS, in terms of, how hard it actually is to get around. If they're able to actually pick up this first buy round, as you can see, Pyth's economy isn't, all that great. It still has to rocket for Mars. If they can do that, then they're up to a brilliant start, and they could actually, it could potentially be decided already, and Cloud9 could be extremely happy with 5 rounds.
So this is going to be the big one, and we already have the smoke round beginning to cut up yard. Maxi is here with the AWP, not going to spot any movement before that smoke goes off. Nothing given away here.
This is such a common play, like making that wall of smoke, basically trying to get people down into secret.
Well, we saw VP do that just like every round nearly versus Cloud9 on the map.
Yeah.
So good to see that Cloud9, they're going to be able to set up the same or a similar play.
This is actually a bit weird to me because they spent 3 smokes to actually smoke off and put down that wall, yet they don't actually push forward with the potential to push forward. And that's odd to me. Why waste 3 smokes basically to get behind T-Red and get behind main? Because you could probably do that without this, usage of your smokes and actually save them for later.
Who is out here? So Shroud used his smoke. That's nothing as well. Nothing shouldn't have a smoke here. So Semphis and Shazam are the only 2 left with smokes on this team. There's one that's going to go into radio. But Maxi caught Shroud, and Shroud was behind T-Red, so that's a free kill there. Jumpy tries to push through the smoke here, and Shazam and Semphis both going to pick up kills. This is what was going to set it up, though. That A split through main, but Roke is locking down this bomb site. 2 kills for him. Nearly gets a 3rd, except that he runs out of bullets. But this is way too close. Semphis doing the best that he can, but he's just not going to be able to pick up that final frag. And Team Orbit will survive the round with 2 players alive.
Yeah. But again, I still question the decision to actually make that wall of smoke. I would rather see them actually smoke off garage and then, on the outside of main towards CT spawn, if you're actually going to do an upper split, because that's way more effective. You still don't have to worry about the AWP to that much of a degree, and you can actually get in.
It feels like they may not have even known that that was going to be the play, that they were going to go for the upper split. I don't know.
Yeah, it is very possible that it's just something they decided on the fly, but they couldn't find anything out in the yard.
I'm wondering about that. Well, regardless, Maxi, nice position there in main. That could be a good spot. Sean Gare's not going to catch him out, however. He's just holding to see if anybody's going to peek forward, but a fresh smoke goes down a walk-off squeak. That's going to limit his information somewhat. Cloud9 with a pretty healthy buy, thanks to that one round where they were able to keep everybody alive. So just having that buffer means that, again, they're going to have a rifle round here, plenty of smokes, plenty of nades. Orbit are the ones who are kind of cutting corners here. Pyth with that 5-7, for example.
You can see that. Sean Gares did pick up a Molotov and has actually used it towards the upper vent. While the rest of the team is actually grouping up towards ramp, and already Orbit are, well prepared with 2 players here.
These anti-flashes, man, really just slowing Cloud9 up. 40 seconds left, and has actually forced Cloud9 back. A fresh smoke goes down. That's changing it up, and there are currently 2, soon to be 3 players on upper right now to hold this push. Cloud9 trying to push through, and Pyth not going to be able to pick up that first frag. Decides to change up his angle, and he drops right into Shroud, but then Rogue from upper manages to just spray him down as they try and get out of hut, and Maxi is there as well with the AWP. It is not going to be good enough. Team Orbit with the perfect hold on the upper side.
Yeah, that's solid. And I mean, even though they're winning rounds, I mean, Pyth didn't get a call before this round. So that tells you what kind of trouble they've been in. So the fact that they're able to get a pretty clean round coming out of that, it's going to give them some possibilities to actually build up an economy. But again, I'm a bit questionable as to what Cloud9 want to do and like before they execute. Because right there, they pretty much spent the entire time just being around ramp, but they hadn't really forced the Swedes to actually use their smokes.
Looks like, again, Yard, and there you go. But Sempis eventually hunts Maxi down, having done pretty much the majority of the damage with that Deagle. Good play here by Huiten, though. 2 headshots at long range. Pyth should be able to close in and get one here. Last man in secret, that's Shazam with the P250, but some good calm work there from Pyth. He manages to pick up his 2nd frag of the round. So a good anti-eco round coming in from Team Orbit, just not really losing anybody apart from Maxi. They do not. Oh, yes, they do have the money. Huiten could drop an AWP for Maxi right now, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah. It seems like an emphasis, which makes sense on a map like Nuke, that you want to keep out the guy who plays hard with an orb, especially if he's able to handle it, which Maxi definitely is.
I like how Maxi manages his money as well. He stops just shy of, if they lose this round, of being able to afford an AWP again in the next one.
Yeah.
So he's guaranteed himself at least another sniper rifle here if they were to lose this one here. So I do like that play, just minding your money. That's what at the root it's all about, minding your money to make sure that you can afford to buy what you want.
And right now, Cloud9 just pretty much just trying to see if they can get lucky or just soften people up before they actually do anything.
It seems like Rogue has taken some damage already to begin with,
Yeah.
so I'm wondering if he did get caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think he actually dropped down from rafters after getting tagged up. The big thing now really is like how there we go. That's the start. Sean Gears picks up Jumpy on the ramp. But like, where does Cloud9 go from here?
I mean, they're kind of all over the place. Ramp action there. Huiten takes out Shroud. That was out in Yard. But then Nothing was able to pick up a frag there as well. They do maintain the man advantage, and that's the most important part here for Cloud9. Not sure if Team Orbit have any info as to where the bomb is as well. So they might be playing in the dark right now, trying to spread out to get info, to just get some eyes on that bomb, figure out where they need to be on the map. Because right now it seems like Shazam is going to be the one opening up, or scoping up at least on this lower site, seeing if he can catch somebody out of position.
Yeah, and for Orbit to really get control over this round, it's basically that can't happen, but Rogue needs to do, he needs to work miracles, really, just denying the bomb plant for as long as possible.
And there you go. Very good play there by Sempis. Watching long, making sure that the plant can't get denied. Now it's just going to be Pyth 1v3, and he gets spotted out in the vents immediately. He is not going to have much hope here. Shazam, instant shot. Living up to his name. It's almost magical how fast he can be. But that's an opera for you right there. Good angle to be held, and this is now... Actually, Maxi is... What? He's actually $250 short of the AWP. For some reason, I thought he would have it, unless he bought Kevlar. I don't know.
And you can see, his teammate who previously had dropped the AWP for him, he's completely broken out, so we're going to see a Deagle. But then again, he knows how to work a Deagle. We've seen that.
We've seen that in the past with him on LGB, man. There's that like one legendary round where he held short on Mirage.
Yeah.
Like quad kill Deagle. It's like, okay, then wait then. Sky Kitten, man, it's got claws.
The aggression from Orbit didn't work out at all. It seemed like, well, yeah, nothing's really working out right now for Orbit, and by all likely accounts, this should be round 5 for Cloud9. So they've already kind of reached that magical number on Nuke.
They're getting beat up right now, Orbit. And this is now, I mean, this should be a perfect round here. Jumpy shouldn't even be looking for any kind of kills. He should just be trying to just stay alive, maybe hold on to this one loss. Instead, he takes the fight. And he does manage to pick up 2, in fact. Looks like 3, yes! Ooh. How is he getting these frags? Cloud9 just walking in one at a time.
This is so unnecessary from Cloud9. This is completely unnecessary. And luckily for them, Shazam, picks that up. But, you can see Shazam was at 27 HP. So that means Jumpy needs to connect with, 1 to 2 bullets just anywhere, in the vicinity of Shazam. And Shazam goes down, and all of a sudden it's a 1v1. That's very doable. So there's absolutely no reason for Cloud9 to basically donate 3 people to Jumpy in that situation.
Yeah, that's far too much money. Nearly 15 grand down the chute right there. Like,
yeah.
What are you gonna do about that? Looks like they want to set up. This could be at least a main fake. Instead, they're going to be throwing one guy in. That's Sean Gears with the Tech 9. They throw him into radio to see if they can spot out the defense a little bit. They're making it look like it was going to be an upper push. And in the meantime, Cloud9 getting delayed behind this Molotov. They're putting the pressure on ramp. Jumpy is gone. Nothing catches out with then. I think that was actually in main as well. Sempis is going to throw him for a loop here by pushing through on Squeak as well. And they are going to turn this into a main push, actually, after all.
And lots of back and forth there. With the two frags that they actually find in the bomb site, makes the decision pretty easy, because even though they have a potential stack, because they've already spotted out Jumpy on ramp, so there's a maximum of 2 people on that upper bomb site. You know, when you know you're up against pistols with no armor, it's a pretty easy decision to go in there, because you can basically sandwich them regardless, and you're fine with, you know, sacrificing one or two weapons right there.
Wonder what they're going to be fine with sacrificing here. I mean, Orbit go for the first. Okay, so Nip have won, actually, after a bit of a rough
that was a pretty
turn of
quick win
events
as well.
Yeah, that was very quick, actually. It feels like they just started that a little while ago. So Property not going to be able to make it through the groups. Nip will take that second seed behind Envy in Group A.
And in a sense, order is restored, because it would have been one hell of an upset if that actually,
Massive upset if that actually gone through.
And right now, it's just Sam showing off. Actually, getting the wall back through his smoke onto Jumpy and ramp. But I know how that, how that feels to be the guy on the receiving end. It's not fun. And right now, Cloud9 are basically getting anything they're trying, they're making it work.
This is just magical for Cloud9 as well, because they need the confidence right now. They're jump at the same time. Shroud, he does spot Huiten, so he picks him out of the air. And nothing does find Maxi as well. There's Pyth holding down on Squeak, and he's going to be able to pick up the kill on Semphis. So a man advantage now for Cloud9. But that bomb is still lurking. And Rogue seems like he wants to try and get some info here. He's taking a look into Hut, seeing if he can catch anybody out. He hears the steps there to wonder if he's going to push. He will, and he takes that fight and wins it. That's a big kill there.
Yeah, that's the bomb drop. Like, it seems weird, but
20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And that bomb should have obviously not been in the hands of nothing. Like, there's no reason for nothing to actually hang back as a lurker if he's actually got the bomb. That's something that Cloud9 needs to work with. And right now, this went from being a very favorable round for them to just a complete mess.
I mean, even had he got that kill onto Rogue, he would not have had time to get the plant there, Shangar. So yeah, that was a little iffy.
Yeah, that was iffy from Cloud9, and I was about to, talk about the fact that, well, what we said earlier about, it's not quite clear what Cloud9 wants to do. They've actually gone away from that and, been very, very consistent with, just pushing as a team for most of the time, or pushing with 2 groups and doing very well of that, after the initial rounds. And while Orbit were actually the ones kind of just randomly aggressing on several parts of the map and just giving away opening kills.
But to me, that sounds a lot like Cloud9, right?
Yeah.
Like, it does feel like they've got a bit of a split mind going on. One group wants to do this, one group wants to do that, and then you kind of have nothing. He's like, I don't know, man. I'm just like here, trying to get frags. Like, it's very weird sometimes how they actually decide to play the game, Cloud9. And you can see that in situations like that right there.
Yeah.
Right now, it's going to be Maxi trying to find a gap through the smoke, and he's going to have a pretty big one there to hold the line on Secret. So this is going to be a little tricky here for Cloud9 to make their way through. Perfectly timed flash. That's going to slow things up. They're all stuck in the smoke, but it looks like they want to try and apply pressure at main, see if they can't catch somebody out at CT Red. Maxi's got to be careful, and Semphis hits the timing just right. Pyth, nothing he could do about that there. Trying to hold that passive angle in case somebody did try to push into main. Unfortunately, he was not going to be able to help his teammate. Does make up for it by picking off Shroud and living through that. Roke does take out Shangares as well, but at least Cloud9 still have control of the bomb with 30 seconds left on this clock. They're still trying to find a way in here. Looks like it might be back through Secret towards the lower site, and Semphis is in a lurk position.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this round is actually going to come down to whether or not, Jumpy's going to look in the right direction at the right time.
Well, there you go, buddy. Jumpy living up to his name and even gets the kill as well. 10 seconds left. Pyth in position, and man, Cloud9 right now just not fluid at all. Team Orbit are going to be able to pick up their 5th round, and they are coming back into this after a rough start at the beginning of the half. Cloud9 making mistakes. This is what's letting the Swedes get back into this match. I mean, if they could finish 9-6, a little bit of luck in in the pistol round in the second half, and Team Orbit are dangerously close to picking up the map. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as soon as you're about to to give Cloud9 praise, they do something weird, and that. I completely agree with what you said. It looks like they wanted to put pressure on towards main, and basically like bum rush with the pop flash through the smoke into main, and they basically wasted again all the smokes before they actually went. And eventually they didn't even go through.
It's almost as if they're just throwing the smokes because it's like, hey guys, we're gonna go yard. We kind of just need to throw the smokes, right? And it's like, well, there's a reason why you throw those smokes, because like VP would go down Secret every time they threw those smokes, right?
Yeah.
So there needs to be some adjustments made here.
And right now it's the expected eco bash really from Orbit. So far so good. I mean, they don't have to.
This is like a timeout situation.
It could actually be. Yeah, like I wouldn't be too surprised.
I mean, look at that. I mean, there's got to be some. It seems like there's got to be some discussion going on right now as to like where they want to take this. Because this to me is like classic, almost like Existence Titan. You know, like I've got a pistol. I'm just gonna go sit over here and use all of this time effectively.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you have the possibility, why not? Because obviously it's about as impossible as it can get for Sean Gears to actually win this round. So you know what's your goal? Eventually, he just needs to get close enough to someone from orbit to kill him before the time runs out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and before he doesn't manage that.
He's got 20 seconds to die. That should be very manageable.
15 seconds. Sneaking his way up, he may be able to get the drop. Knife.
Knife. Oh.
Knife. Oh, peekaboo! 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. Now, actually, if he survives with this gun, it's fine.
Yeah, but if he dies with it, it's not great at all. But yeah, actually managed to get away. So it turns out to be, a pretty nice get for Sean Gears, actually, camping behind that box for such a long time. And hopefully Cloud9 managed to talk quite a few things over, while he was seated there.
Well, that's what we're all about to find out here now in this round, 13th round, 6-6. We're tied now here on the score.
Yeah, and I actually think, seeing how Sean Gears has that Molotov, I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw... Yeah, Sean Gears, last time around, he had a Molotov. He used it for the up events, basically to clear that area around. And I wouldn't be all that surprised if we actually saw some aggression towards main with the way Cloud9 are setting up. So it might be something similar to an A split.
They're stepping all over the place right now, as we can hear. Xenvis, 2 guys up on main right now. Looks like it might be just a drop straight down into main. They've got the smoke to block off Hell.
Oh, they're actually got to go down secret.
Oh, okay, style points. No, Shroud, come on. We got to get, there's a jump map. You can load it. You have that jump in it. You can practice that jump.
I mean, those style points just went straight to hell.
No style points. He gets like negative style points there. He gets actually like negative 40 style points. Oh, man, that's painful. Okay, well, Shroud, at least he's going to be able to get something out of this. He spots out a man in ramp, but that's kind of expected. Instead, Maxi takes the peek and shoots dead center between Xenvis and nothing there. So that's a little unfortunate for him. Spins out, but Jumpy does manage to pick off Sean Gears, so some damage done here from the CT side. And they are going to be able to actually close this up fairly nicely. Huiten catches the backstab. Xenvis will eventually catch him, but the bomb has now been planted. Cloud9 actually have a bomb plant going their way.
Oh, that's unfortunate timing for nothing.
Well, that's an unfortunate timing there for Xenvis, not able to land the shot on the man in vents. Shazam, however, is in a bit of an interesting position. They should be covering long, though. There you go. Pushes through. Now they know exactly where he is. Does he actually play with this? He is going to attempt it. Spray onto the man defusing. He just needs one more bullet. One more bullet would have done the trick, and he would have actually put them in a bit of an awkward position there.
Yeah, it's so surprising to see as well, because it was like, initially, when he pulls up that spray, he's aiming to, get the diffuser, right? And
then he readjusts.
And then he readjusts, but he doesn't, aim more to the right. He just can expect someone to run at him. But like, you're not going to win the round that way, so it doesn't really make sense that he doesn't actually go back, even though it means that he'll most likely die. That's his only hope of winning the round. So again, a bit surprising. But Cloud9 do get the bomb plant, so they're going to be able to rebuy, and not really surprisingly, we're seeing another setup for Yard Smokes.
That's a good number of rounds that they've won in the row here to Team Orbit as well. So max money coming up for Cloud9. Maxi's still going to be able to change up his angle. Fresh smoke goes down, and he doesn't pull the trigger. So they are managing to make it past a little bit here. Huiten spots the man out. Instant reaction from him. Well done there. Takes out Sean Gears in the yard. Just barely spots him and reacts in time. And now it turns into the radio push, or the ramp push. And Jumpy is going to flame himself up, basically. Nothing somehow finding the kill onto Huiten, though, so bringing it back to a 4-on-4, but Cloud9 have suffered some serious damage here. They have actually taken quite a bit to the face.
Yeah, and seeing how it took so long for them to actually get out onto a round, Orbit has already made a rotation with 2 people downstairs, so if Cloud9 actually opts to go downstairs, this could be horrible for them. There you go. 4K from Pied. So yeah, that did spell loads of trouble really for Cloud9.
So lottery numbers tonight, Ben? You got any ideas?
I've already filled it, set in my lottery ticket. I'll give you a copy later.
Yeah, good looking out. It's all good, man. You'll get your cut. You'll get your cut.
So yeah, I mean, last round and a half. So, but like, even though Cloud9 dropped quite a few rounds at the end there, like this is still a really good round, even if it ends 96 in favor of Orbit.
Well, one thing that's different from the cash map is that Maxi right now seems to be missing some shots at this AWP, not having that much of an effect. Not like what we saw in the earlier best of 3. That time, however, he does manage to get it done, picks up 1 kill, but then Semphis is right on top of him. He's not able to capitalize with a double. So they do manage to, however, keep the man advantage on Team Orbit's side. Cloud9 down to Semphis, Sean Gares, and Shroud now. This is a bit of a mixed situation for them as well, but it is the 15th round.
Orbit has, gotten a lot of information with Jumpy pushing so aggressively, and but yeah, exactly, able to pick up Sean Gears as well, and now it's all on Shroud, and that's not going to go well.
So there you have it.
96. I mean, obviously, given the start that Orbit have, they have to be okay with that. Although,
I think so.
Yeah, it's not the result you want on the CT side, but it could have been so much worse. And Cloud9, they're a bit the other way around. Obviously, with the start, you would have liked more rounds, but 6 rounds on the T side of the nuke is still brilliant.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still good enough, right? It should still be good enough.
It should be enough for Cloud9 to actually close this out.
I don't think that they should get they should start feeling a little nervous about this. I mean, you can get that frustration when you get so far ahead so early and then you fail to get more rounds on the board. That's a little frustrating, but still, looking at it, they should be able to do some good work here, and that's a terrific nade. Shroud is just going to mow them down. He eventually gets taken out by Huiten, so we're back into a 2-on-2, but Huiten and Pyth are so low on HP. Just a little bit of pressure here. Sean looking for the angle. He's going to come rushing out, takes that fight, stays alive, and that's important. They're down to 1 man here, and it's Pyth versus Shaz. And Shaz is going to get the shot in the end. The fuse will be coming in here, and Cloud9 will be picking up that pistol. So Team Orbit will not have that perfect start going into the second half here.
Yeah, and obviously, if Team Orbit picks up that pistol, then they have a very, very legitimate chance of actually picking up the map. With Cloud9 getting it, should be equalized at 9-9, and after that, it's all advantage Cloud9.
And that's both pistols won by Cloud9 as well, so that's going to give them a lot of rounds to work with. I mean, you see them not messing around. They're worried about the Tech 9 buy, the Tech 9 armor buy. They go straight up to rifles. They go straight nades. I mean, buying up whatever they can at this point just to get ahead.
And you can see that Orbit, they're opting for the proper eco really, because they want to buy up actually as quickly as possible and potentially break the economy of Cloud9.
Exactly. If they can slow them down early on here, that would be big. And holy hell, what a shot from Pyth. Shazam is gone out in the yard, and now actually Cloud9 have to worry about somebody on the T side sneaking their way over there to pick up that gun. That's why Semphis comes out on the cat, trying to get eyes on yard. Sean Gares has picked off Jumpy, but that was over in ramp. And now Semphis, he's lost control of yard, so they could actually pick up a FAMAS to work with here, Team Orbit. And I think that's what they're going to. They have to work somebody over there to go and pick that up. And that's too valuable to just leave lying around.
Oh yeah, especially given how they didn't actually invest in anything special. I mean, they've got P250, sure, and 1 Deagle that Pyth has put to good use already, but FAMAS would definitely do quite a bit more damage.
Are they just assuming that Shazam, because they killed Shazam, he would have only had like a 5-7 or something? Is that why they aren't actually going to look for a gun?
It might just be the fact that they, you can imagine that somebody's is going to hold an angle that covers garage, and they're not feeling it's worth the risk actually to potentially die 1 or 2 people just for that, if they can potentially pick up people with pistols.
All right, now nothing in Semphis, nothing in particular. They're having a field day. They spot out Pyth at Squeak as well. Pyth actually gets the kill on nothing, so there you go. Some of that Deagle action again, doing so much damage, and Semphis has to be very careful about how he approaches this situation as well, because he's low on HP. 9 seconds left, and are we going to get the matchmaking plant? No, we will not. Sean Gares is going to stop it just short. So no bonus money here for Team Orbit going into the next round, their buy round, and we can see them just jumping straight up to AKs. Cloud9 have got to be a little bit frustrated with the situation. At least they stopped the plant, but they still lost 2 people to a flat buy.
Yeah, exactly. And for Orbit, they did what they set out to do, because if they win this round, Cloud9 are already in a bit of a bad state economically speaking, with forcing up with FAMAS, and you've even got a Deagle on Shazam. So if they lose this round, Cloud9, they're going to be straight back to ecos, and that's probably a double eco, and that's a horrible situation for them to be in. And this is what Orbit wants. This is what they've been aiming for ever since they got the plant in the pistol.
See, I mean, Orbit, you can already see that Orbit are much more conservative with their nades. I mean, they don't have that many to work with to begin with, but they still have 2 smokes, couple flashes, and a bullet from Shaz, who actually returns. It's not Huiten he takes out, or Pyth, but he does manage to find Roke, and that's a good kill
Swede,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Oh,
he's not picky, man. He'll take out another one. There's Pyth, so he does get revenge for the last round. He eventually gets taken out, but still 2 kills with the Deagle. He'll be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was, the biggest weak point, really, of the Cloud9 defense, really. That Deagle out in yard, like, how are you actually going to hold back a team of AKs with, with just a Deagle? And apparently that's how you do it.
You put it in the hands of an Opper.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the angle, though. And Semphis must have been thinking, he must have been thinking somebody was sneaking up Cat.
Or that he actually had some cover. Like, in any case, that should never happen.
Yeah, that is a big mistake. I'm sure Semphis isn't going to be too pleased about that either.
And still, Cloud9 do have the man advantage, and like the two remaining Orbit members are going to have a really hard time actually getting onto that bomb site if Cloud9 reacts correctly.
Nicely done there by Huiten. Catches nothing, trying to peek and stop that bomb plant. The bomb plant will happen, and both kills actually coming through. So good timing there by Shroud and Shangers, peeking together and just catching both Orbit members out.
Yeah, I do think that Cloud9 could have potentially managed to stop the bomb plant from happening, completely, and then leaving Orbit in a situation where they're not going to be able to buy up. They didn't. So the potential for a force buy here from Orbit is very, very real. I mean, we could also see Tech9 and like Kevlar for that matter.
Actually, that's what I'm wondering if they should go for. Like, there you go, Jumpy. Yeah, they're going to go for it. It's a straight up Tech9 buy. And this isn't even that big a risk because they've lost 3 rounds in a row. If they get a bomb plant here 4 rounds in a row, they'll have money to buy up in the next round.
Yeah, what's surprising me though is the fact that Pyth has actually not bought Kevlar. They could have easily done that and not been any danger.
Is Pyth stuck here?
Yeah, Molotov.
Yeah, he's going to take a little bit of damage, but the bomb gets dropped. And somehow, Roke just came running out. Pyth is going to find another headshot, and there it is again. Another 2 kills. Looking for a third one, but it's not meant to be. He's taken out by Semphis in the end with that USP, but that was way too close. Again, Pyth doing the damage with that Deagle. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure if that was the intended strategy from Orbit at all. I mean, I would assume that if Pyth actually had Kevlar, he would have been able to run through that Molotov like straight away. Instead, he kind of gets trapped in, and the entire rush kind of gets halted.
Also Roke, I think, carrying the bomb, and he just kind of got killed out in the middle of nowhere with it.
Yeah.
Not trying to come out through hut, and I thought that he would probably try to go down vent, maybe something like that, right? You know, the matchmaking play where it's like, hey, look over here, 4 guys running upper, and then the one guy sneaks his way down vent to go plant on lower.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case this time. In any case, Shazam, I think he spotted him. I think he spotted him up there on silo. But Huiten, in the meantime, is taking a kill with that AWP. He takes out Semphis, but Shazam instantly returns on him. And Shazam still knows that somebody's up on silo right now. He still wants to find that pick.
So far, doing a good job of containing the Orbit members inside. And yeah, he's gone for the 4th frag here.
I don't think you can wallbang that, Shazam. Like, just proving, just showing, yeah, I know where he is. I know where that guy is. Jumpy, though, right now. He's about to sandwich in Shazam. That's a real problem. Cloud9, no control over yard now. Shazam doing the best that he could in that situation. I believe he picked up 3.
Yeah. He's done a really good job so far. Obviously, they have no idea where the bomb is because, it's been dropped way back in T-spawn. But right now, Cloud9 have no real idea of where Orbit are actually moving. If they have the bomb on them, like, they have absolutely very little control until nothing finds Jumpy right there. And that's a big tell, especially because Pyth is 17 HP, so it's going to be extremely hard for him to actually get anything done. And Shroud here is,
and that's it's as easy as that.
Yeah. That could have been very, very scary for them. I mean, imagine a situation where Jumpy, goes straight up into heaven instead of walking around towards ramp. You might just find Shroud in the open, and all of a sudden it's a clean upper bomb site for you.
Yeah, with nothing on the lower site, just miles away as far as the rotation time is concerned.
Yeah.
And that would have been harsh, but one thing is they do actually have that AWP again for Shazam, and wow, what a shot. Takes out Pyth right at the beginning there. Not sure if he spotted out the man on silo, but that guy just plummets down and takes a lot of damage to the face. So Maxi, not the best start here to his round.
And so far, Shazam, the last few rounds, Shazam has been doing a lot of work really for Cloud9. First, the 2 kills with the Deagle, then, several frags out in yard with the AWP, which is nice to see that he's actually, getting into his groove with the AWP.
Feels like they're really warming up right now, Cloud9. They're starting to get that momentum to go their way on the CT side. Shazam landing some good shots. Oh, misses that one somehow, but he gets the follow-up on Huiten, who gets caught out in the open, looking for that other one, but Semphis is going to get it first, so Roke is down, and Jumpy trying to sneak his way through hut, gets picked off by Shroud. So there it is. Cloud9, perfect hold for them, all 5 members surviving, and that is very important considering they don't really have that much money. For a team that has taken, what, like 6 rounds in a row now, they aren't sitting on a huge bank, so they need to get more rounds like that on the board.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, here's a chance. Even though it's take 9 armor.
Yeah, likelihood of them all surviving here pretty slim to nil, I think.
Yeah,
just gonna put it out there.
It could happen. It could happen. You know.
Man. All right, pigs can fly too if they get shot out of a dam cannon or something.
That's just Sam again. Starts off with a great entry frag onto Jumpy.
Whoa, Sean Gares through the smoke. Takes out Maxi. That's so frustrating for Maxi as well. But he knows that they get spotted, and Roke does manage to take out Sempus. There's 1 kill. Are we going to get a second one? I think so. Sean Gares gets overwhelmed. Huiten and Roke very low, but the damage is done. I think as far as they're concerned, with the damage that they've inflicted here, they should be pretty pleased.
Yeah, right now, you know, they just want to see if they can maybe manage to squeak out 1 more kill. So it's actually, you know, a very big blow to Cloud9's economy because, you know, it's going to be extra money out of the pocket.
Oh, it looks like Cloud9 are going to be able to rotate down in time. They've got a man holding on long. Shroud just trying to find that angle on ramp. Not going to be able to spot them out quite yet. He's going to let them know that he's there. And he hears them running past. So now this is it. He's got the good angle. I'm not sure if he spotted him there. But on that lower side, that bomb, they're going to have the attempt. And Shroud shuts down the first and wall bangs the second. Very clean play from him. Good patient play, not overextending himself or showing himself too early there. Gets the drop on Team Orbit. That's exactly what he needed to do. But again, they take some severe losses that last round. I think 2 kills is even that. You know, 1 kill, okay, right. You know, maybe just losing 1, that's all right versus Deck 9s. But losing 2, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for them, it's kind of the right people who died in that sense.
Oh, I see how it is, man.
So the right people died in the sense that, you know, they can actually spread the money around properly now. And they won't have that many issues with the potential rebuy. And obviously for Orbit, this is pretty much do or die. And we need to see Max actually getting into things on the T side. We haven't seen a lot of him.
Man, what are we seeing right now? A double op play coming in from Team Orbit. Shazam, though, is clearly woken up right now. He has got that second frag, or I mean that first frag just makes it look easy. Drops his crosshair down and removes him from the map. Roke is gone, and Sean Gares, he's the one who's going for the bit of the cheek here. Goes for a Scar 20. I love that position, though. It's such a nice long line straight up into radio. But he's playing it safe right now. He decides to fall back, not give it up, not try and take that straight up fight versus 4 people.
I actually think that's, you know, a bit of a coward-ish move. Because you have an auto sniper, it doesn't really matter if smoke pops down. You can just, you know, chuck 20 bullets, exactly. And it's really tough to actually avoid that in such a narrow space as the ramp on nuke.
Say Sempus is holding the line down here. 2 kills for him. Good shot there on the Python in particular. He's going to shoot the heals out from Huiten, but Huiten will find the headshot first. And now Shroud trying to do the best that he can up in vents. Maxi with that AWP takes out Sean Gares. Just like that, we're into a 2-on-2 with 20 seconds left. But Shazam getting a little ahead of himself there. Seemed like he wanted to try and draw attention there, but that was a bit too early. Now they attempt the nade. Good nade damage, but again, this is such an impossible position for Shroud. He doesn't know where the second man is. He still thinks he's over at ramp.
That was a bit of a weird round, like how Cloud9 actually played it. Obviously, you know, with Sean Gares actually rotating back and basically giving up ramp completely, they did one right thing, which was rotating Sempus down, and he did a great job. He picked up 2 frags, but what everyone else was doing was just way too late. You had Shazam in window, that's good, but having a guy in vent doesn't really do a lot for you in that situation, especially like when you have the auto sniper coming all the way around from ramp, dropping down there as well. So you get kind of, you don't really get any control over the site, and you can't really deny Orbit from doing anything.
Well, not only that, I mean, you just invested $5 grand in this auto sniper, and you didn't really do anything at all with it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's my main gripe about that round right there. Feels like you got very little from it, and they didn't manage to save it either, obviously. So that's it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, but you know, Cloud9 able to rebuy, and Shazam just keeps showing his good trend right now.
Yeah, Shazam has definitely got his eye in.
And what's really good with what he's doing is he's actually opting for, you know, different positions pretty much every round. He never really, you know, replicates himself in that sense by doing the same thing over and over. You know, he repeats himself. So he's actually been able to get opening frags. Jumpy does return with the frag onto him, and this is actually the first time in this game we've seen Jumpy with an AWP.
Sempus missing out big there, and Sean Gares not able to connect with the full spray. 2 big picks to open up the map for Team Orbit. There's only 30 seconds left in this round. They have to start making a call fairly soon here. If they waste much more time, they're going to be too pressured going onto these sites. So Shroud holding a solid position. They have 2 up on the upper site right now, and they're going to be looking to just set up a crossfire. They have to worry about the flank. Now they have to worry about Cat. They see the man mid, and that is going to be Pyth landing the headshot there. But then the 180 kill from nothing takes out the man main and whips around to take out Jumpy. That's the kind of individual play that's going to put Cloud9 over Orbit, and that resets Orbit's money as well. It's looking grim here, Ven.
It's looking really grim for the Sweets right now. This should be fairly easy for Cloud9 to wrap up at this point. I mean, granted, Shazam doesn't have an AWP out in Yarn right now, so that could be an opening that Orbit could take advantage of. But I mean, right now, Cloud9 are just playing better.
I think that's the long and short of it right there. It's the fact that Shazam is woken up and finds
Sempus is playing really well as well.
Sempus getting kills. Shangairs as well, lending a hand. Nothing, holding that bottom line on long. He's going to stop the first man through, but 3 others are just going to come barreling around the corner. He's about to get overwhelmed. He's only got the P2K in hand. He just barely makes it into vents, but they're just going to keep that pressure up. They want to keep him on his toes. There you go. The pre-fire around the corner from Huiten takes nothing out and leaves that rifle there, and Huiten is even going to be able to pick that up. That's a big win for him. The only rifle that they have on the T side now at this point. Although, you know, do you really need it? Ask Olafmeister. He'll just swap back to the Tech 9. Good reaction time there by Shazam, though, to stop Jumpy. And Shroud just drops straight onto Huiten. This is now going to be the last man here alive. Rogue, and he jumps the gun. He shows himself early. Doesn't even wait for them to get on the bomb. He's like, oh, come on, guys. Opens the doors and gets caught out. I mean, one thing, I guess, is that Team Orbit at least got the bomb planned in this scenario.
Wow. So they're going to get that last-ditch effort, you know, that last chance, really, to bring it back. But you see, you know, it's not an optimal buy. 2 scouts on Python and Maxi and 1 AK.
Definitely not ideal.
Not the buy you want, but obviously, yeah. It seems like they just want to continue to challenge Shazam, really, out in Yard, and it hasn't been working out for them at all so far, so it's a bit of a mystery to me that they're just going to continue to do it over and over.
And they weren't far off there. You heard that bullet zip by. Shazam fade away shot, and he is going to manage to actually slow things down somewhat, but Maxi is the one taking damage right now. That was over in ramp, but actually Jumpy is going to go for the run and gun, take out Shangairs. He's very close. In fact, they're taking out Sempus as well, but Sempus just barely lands the headshot in time to keep himself alive. Way too close, though, than the damage. He's down to 6 HP. Shazam spots out a man in garage, and he's going to miss that shot. So this is so close here. A real battle in this potential last round of the map. 50 seconds left on this clock as well. I mean, Orbit, do you think they're making the right call at this point, trying to push pressure here?
I think, you know, it's a bit of a weird decision to actually want to put under Heaven without really having any openings at all. Like, what do you expect to accomplish from that position on the map? Because it's pretty much suicide when you know exactly, you know Shazam is on Heaven already with the AWP. It's got a suicide to just try to funnel players up there and not expecting to get punished for it. Same thing going through ramp. It's going to be really hard.
That's going to be waking them up a little bit. Nothing getting caught, just holding that angle, and unluckily for him, Pyth already looking. Shroud going to let that bomb get planted as well. Doesn't want to show himself too early here in vents. 2 members now in vents for Cloud9 as well. Pyth holding this line, however. It's deadly, but he just has to be worried about ramp. He spots the first man out, does not land the spray, and now it's going to be down to Maxi. He's only got 38 HP, caught in a crossfire, and Shroud will pick up the remaining 2 frags. Cloud9 will keep their hopes alive in this tournament, pick up the first map in this best of 3.
Yeah, impressive display from Cloud9, definitely showing that, you know, even though VP kind of gave them a thrashing, you know, they're not a pushover on this map after all. And it came off of, off the back of a really good T side. That was the main thing for Cloud9. They showed off that they could actually get rounds on the, in the first half, and I think that was the key point, really. Simple as.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing as well. Shazam, like, we were looking towards Nothing because Nothing was kind of like the star player of this morning, the first time these 2 teams clashed. And he just had just ridiculous scores. But when it comes down to it in this round, I think it really was like Shazam, Shangair, Sempus, like those 3 guys really just stepped it up for Cloud9 and started landing shots. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Yeah. That wasn't happening this morning. Like 3 of those guys were sitting on single digits like halfway through. But now all of a sudden in this map, when it really matters, they wake up, and that's what you need to see from a team of this caliber.
That's what matters. And I think we're actually about to throw it over to the analyst desk for some more in-depth talk about what we just saw. So, Scoops, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, they did what we definitely didn't think was going to happen. No. They reset, and that was a solid nuke by Cloud9. Both sides.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say solid, very, very improved. I think they've done. I think
6 rounds is T.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I think they've done. It's a very comfortable performance. It's a well-drilled performance, it's a disciplined performance. All the things that they weren't against Virtus Pro, and I'm really surprised with what we've seen there, because it was day and night from the Virtus Pro performance. And I don't necessarily think that's a reflection on Orbit. Actually, I definitely think that's Cloud9 really stepping up their games. You know, credit where it's due. If we're going to stick the knife in when they're having a bad time,
Yeah, you got to go both ways.
Absolutely got to go both ways on it. So really impressed there from Cloud9, even though I thought it was a strange pick. Very hard to read now psychologically where they are on the map, because that seemed to me to be almost like a defeatist pick. You know, I still stand by what I said. I think that veto went horribly for them, but they seem to be triumphing despite themselves, which of course is going to give them more confidence as they move forward into this second map here.
Yeah, and then again, we talked about, and you guys brought up all day, and we talked about Cloud9 is Jordan's got to do his thing, but like, where has been Shazam? And he had some clutch rounds.
He did.
And Semphis, lots of frags.
Yeah,
very solid. So kind of almost 2 new guys kind of step. Again, that's what a good team has. You have several step up at any given time.
Well, that's also a player we don't associate with being the star. Of all the players in the team, you don't expect it to be him to be the guy leading the way, and obviously leading the way to this victory. I mean, like Richard said there, yeah, you've got to go both ways, you know. Much like as he learned in his sexual history, you know.
I knew
you've got to go both ways.
I can't believe you went for the low-hanging fruit.
You've got to, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Give and you shall receive, you know.
It's all very biblical.
I thought we got.
And
I know that you know about biblical knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. The very.
I'd like to know you in a biblical sense.
Is there?
I'm proud.
Is there anyone we haven't offended yet?
Aren't you?
Today?
How can I be sure of that, Richard?
Oh,
you do know me pretty well.
Breaking news.
I do retweet your tweets sometimes.
Very rarely.
It's all starting to fit together now.
So,
do you have those nudes of me, Richard? Do you?
I just want to point out that you're both wrong with your prediction. And so far, I
but
am
we're right about all that.
Well,
other stuff,
how nice of you to do it when you sat on the fence and you're like, well, it'd be unprofessional of me to give an opinion.
I called it 2-1, though.
Yeah, so you were wrong as well.
But he
No,
only
I
wanted
got
to
my
point out
one.
that we were wrong on the predictions, not about that stuff about your sexuality.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
Obviously.
I'm trying to steer back on
He's trying to steer back under the straight and narrow also, you know.
It's the end of the day, and Duncan's high on energy drinks, mate. So, you know, it's like, this is...
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm not out. Wait, don't take that the wrong way. Okay. Cash. Again, like, we questioned the pick. We questioned why it wasn't banned by Cloud9.
Orbit jumped at the chance to pick this map. This is why your predictions got, you know, a real chance of coming together here, because I still back Orbit all the way on Cash. You know, they struggled on it, Cloud9. Nothing had to drop those 50 frags to sort of keep them in touching distance of a game that they lost anyway. I don't think that's going to happen again here. Whether Semphis can carry that form forward, because that's going to be hugely important here. And actually, Semphis did drop almost 30 frags, I think, on Cobble as well when they beat Virtus Pro. So
he was
that's
one of the top fraggers.
Yeah,
sure,
so that's one. This is the second big performance they've had from him. So, you know, again, we talked about the sleeper must awake, and I was thinking it might be Shazam that's going to step up. Maybe it is going to be Semphis, and if so, great, because how Cloud9 dearly need that. And people forget Semphis was one of the star players back in that, you know, complexity lineup back at the first major at DreamHack Winter when they had that run and got to the semis, wasn't it?
Yeah, semi-final.
You know, and they were one of the first teams to really fly the flag for sort of NA in this new CSGO landscape. Semphis was a very good player, good tactician, good fragger, you know, was a good all-rounder. So he's been missing. He's been, you know, off the grid for a while. So it's good to see him coming back. I hope he can sustain it. You know, I really want Cloud9 to do well, even though, you know, we have been ripping them all this tournament. That's just the analytical side, you know. Heart, you know, if I'm speaking from the heart, obviously I want an NA scene, an NA team, you know, to come.
And an
NA scene, actually.
I appreciate that.
I'd like an NA scene too.
As a representative of NA, I appreciate your concern. And
It used to be cool when we had
That's very benevolent of
very
me.
benevolent of you.
No, but seriously,
Thank you.
but all of that said, we move into Cash now. Cannot see how Cloud9 are gonna win here against Orbit. Orbit seem very well drilled on this, and I think they're like, okay, Nuke probably is not a map they've practiced a lot as a mixed team, but Cash, they have it down. They've got the tactics.
I mean, the other thing was when they played that first game, where Orbit particularly impressed was their terrorist side was really good. And actually, that's in the past. Whenever Cloud9 used to have good performances on Cash, it was they would have these strong T-side performances. So the fact that they can match what was previously the biggest strength of Cloud9 on that map, yeah, I'm still feeling like Orbit's going to win this game. Now, obviously, it can't be a 2-0 anymore, but that nuke wasn't enough to sway me like, oh, this is a totally new Cloud9, none of the problems of before.
Yeah.
I feel like Cash is going to go Orbit's way.
Okay, gotcha. Just update on that challenger match. Nip did end up winning against Property, winning the third map. So
I caught the last few rounds. I went into the challenger stadium and watched it, and yeah, I mean apparently. Obviously, we didn't watch all of the games because we had other things to attend to. But one of the probably hands down the series so far of the tournament. Nip were 3 rounds away from going out of the tournament and using that Nip magic that a certain esports journalist keeps jabbering on about. They managed to come back and knock them out. So Property can feel really pleased with the way that they've played this tournament. And again, they got a fantastically talented squad. Hope it sticks together moving forward because they've pushed Nip all the way there. But Nip, still in.
You'd have to wonder
and that puts them to Virtus Pro, just so everyone at home, that's who they will now play.
So
Virtus
Nip will
Pro.
play Virtus Pro, which, by the way, itself is actually I think it's actually the best rivalry in CS:GO because they've met in so many finals, so many big series. Like, there's a lot of pedigree there, obviously. In terms of the guys from Property, I actually feel like they had a really good showing for themselves. They'll actually probably be thinking to themselves, like, oh, why couldn't we have been the guys who were in the other group? Like, we got the group with Nip and we got the group with Envy. Like, how are we supposed to get out of there?
If Property had been in the other group in place at Orbit, they got a realistic chance possibly of winning the whole thing. I definitely think Cloud9 are already, back at the hotel, no doubt. I mean, Property really impressed me, but as you rightly say, you're up against, the second and third best team in the world.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, folks, and when we come back, Map 2, Cloud9. Can they do it? Can they keep it alive against Team Orbit? We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. Gfinity Spring Masters #1. I'm Sir Scoots. I'm joined by Duncan and my buddy Richard. Yep. Let's get your keys to victory. Obviously, again, to recap, map is Cash. Cloud9's up 1-0.
I mean, I noticed when we do this show, Scott, it's rare that actually like name tags come up. So I'd say a key to victory for the viewers would be to follow me on Twitter at Thorin with 3 O's.
Thorin with 3 O's.
Now then, back to the game.
How many plugs is this guy going to get in for himself?
That's Sir Scoots. 2 O's.
Okay, yeah. So
you got no O's,
mate.
I heard the rumors. So
okay, so now we got keys to social media. We're good.
Okay, yeah.
Now keys to victory.
Okay, so for Orbit, I think I won't make it a player.
We've lost B-Rice. B-Rice is just done.
I won't make it a player, but I'll say for Orbit, I think the key to victory is a good T-side. Like, if they have a good T-side like that, I think that sets them up to really win the map, because it is a CT-sided map. So, yeah, they lost T rounds, obviously, over on the side of Cloud9, because they got it to overtime. But if you can get a lot of T rounds, the default is you're going to get your CT rounds. So you're going to win the map in that sense. If we're going over to the Cloud9 side of things, I mean, they've been so up and down today. Maybe I'll just say a weird key to victory. Shazam should not play badly. If he just plays decently, I think that's enough for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely applying a lot of pressure to Shazam there. I'll come to that in a sec, but just to talk about Orbit, I think keys for victory there. Probably. Yeah, they need to have a good T-side. I mean, I'm trying to think about it. Maxi's the AWPer, right? Isn't it, for them? So he's been hitting his shots, playing really well. Infu said he was an absolute tear away. He had some good moments there outside, but not enough to really stop Cloud9 getting a stranglehold on the game. Cash, we know, again, it's the standard stuff. A lot of choke points, quite a closed-off map. You have an AWPer that can really open it and bring it alive. Yeah. So, with Shazam, who hasn't been quite on song, if Maxi can dominate that area and get some picks, that can really help them on the T side, and that was kind of a feature, getting those picks and having the coordinated pushes, which I think really caught Cloud9 off guard. What Cloud9 need to do is they need to kind of remember that they've already played this team on Cash. They should have all the tools at their disposal to fix the problems. I don't think they've even had time to really think about that or work on it, because they've just gone straight into a monster series against Virtus Pro, the crushing realization that they should have got through, could have topped the group. They're dealing with that. They're reeling from that, and then they've got to come into this game. So probably they haven't. I still think, as Thorin joked earlier, nothing needs 52 frags, right? That's what they need to do to have an overtime win. I just don't really see where it's going to come from. Semphis absolutely needs to carry that form forward. He needs to be making, 2 and 3 kills pretty much every round, when they're swarming over the sites. Semphis is going to have to really, continue his form. I don't see that happening. I'm still going with Orbit for this. I think it will be close. But probably is going to say around about a 16-13 game to Orbit for me.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. The players are ready. Our casters are ready. So Semler and Vendetta, take us away.
All right. Thanks, Scoots. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Thorin. With 3 O's?
3 O's.
3 O's. 3 O's. Yeah, that's it, Thorin. So follow him on Twitter, guys. Well worth it. And listen to his video series, Thorin's Thoughts. Definitely worth it as well. Talks about LoL. Don't know why. But he does do some good CSGO videos. So, go check that out.
Very true.
But right now, what are your keys for victory, Ven? I mean, we might as well carry it over, because we can't talk to them, while that's all going on. So, of course, we're kind of talking to the monitor and talking to ourselves. But, what are your keys for victory here for Orbit to come back into this match and save themselves from getting knocked out?
Well, actually, I'm actually going to piggyback on what, Thorin said there.
Okay.
A good T side.
Okay.
And for Cloud9, it's basically, not going to single out Shazam, because obviously he's coming off a great game on Nuke, so I'm just going to expect him to keep that up.
That way,
exactly. Same thing with Semphis. So maybe, if we see Shroud being, Stream Shroud, in a sense, basically just going off, dominating, do crazy stuff.
He's good on Cash.
Yeah.
He's good on Cash.
Cash is one of those weird maps that actually lends itself really well to both. If you're an AWPer, you have loads of opportunities to actually, showcase your skill, whether you're being a defensive AWPer or an aggressive AWPer, you can still, flourish on that map. Same thing goes for riflers. So Shroud, Cash should be a map that he could do really, really well on. And we saw, nothing in the first game Orbit played versus Cloud9. He absolutely.
I think he had a couple quad kills and an ace.
He was doing everything.
He did pretty good.
Yeah, he was doing everything for Cloud9 at that point. So, it definitely lends itself to both good riflers and good AWPers and all that. So, just a consistent effort, really, from Cloud9 should be enough on a normal day. Because, Cloud9 should be a better team than Orbit. That's just kind of how it is.
Well, I'm glad that Richard Lewis for Orbit, brings up Maxi, because for me, he was the guy who stood out actually in the first best of 3 when these teams faced this morning.
Yeah.
For me, he was the one who was landing all the shots, creating the opportunities, shutting down these angles, and really making Cloud9 work, because his AWP, it rang out. The note was pure, was clear. It was just, like, get out Cloud9. That's pretty much what it was saying, right?
Yeah.
So Maxi, for him, I think we need him to step up as well as Jumpy. Like both of those players really were like the point men, along with Pyth. But that was more towards the end in the overtime scenario where Pyth started to come alive and start hitting those headshots. But the beginning, when the real pressure was being applied to Cloud9, I feel like it was Jumpy and Maxi who were leading the charge there for Orbit. So if we can have a repeat performance from those two players, if they can find themselves after this nuke debacle and come into Cash swinging and show that same form, we might have a repeat of what actually happened this morning. Cloud9 could get beaten into the ground, and then it's really a question of, is nothing going to come to the rescue again?
Yeah, that is a very good question. And, I don't think we're going to see a similar performance from nothing this time around.
Because to ask, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that every day. But, here's to hoping that Cloud9 actually gets some more consistent effort from everyone. But definitely I agree with that. And for me, Maxi is, the new Swedish guy to look out for, because many people probably don't know about him. So he's going to be an exciting name to actually follow.
Now let's see here, guys. We should be getting into it fairly soon here. We are having the teams readying up, so we should be into it. This is not the second round. Don't worry. Don't freak out. They need to do either the knife round, or we're going to get into the pistol round here shortly. But we should be live in just a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to be the second map in this best of 3. If you're just tuning in, welcome here to the Gfinity Spring Masters, the first one of the year. There's going to be several more throughout the year, but it's already a good time here. We've had plenty of excellent CS all day long, and this is potentially the final map of today. So we'll see now if Team Orbit can keep their hopes alive in this tournament, or if Cloud9 are going to carry on to go up against Envy tomorrow morning in the semifinals. So that is what we're here to find out. That is what we're looking for.
And that's some kind of the prize. You win a game and you get to play Envy. It's
Yeah, here you go, buddy.
Yay.
Have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Soxy, is he going to bring the pain?
Oh, yeah.
Hiroshima. I mean, Smith's played out of his mind with a pistol earlier today on Dust 2. So,
Oh, yeah, and he actually kept that going into Cash, the second map versus Property. It was absolutely crazy how well he played.
It's like the Frenchest guy here, basically. Edouard du Bourdeau.
He actually has the most badass last name.
Yeah, I think we had this discussion the other day,
exactly.
like who has the badass, and then we got to say, it's like, I think Shoxy wins there, man. Papillon, Butterfly.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, how do you top that? As far as things are concerned here, so far, this is still a warm-up, so kind of wondering. A little bit of a demonstration there of the ways that you can move around in that area by Pyth. Get up on that electric box and boost yourself, essentially. We'll see if Sean's going to land the jump. He's going to try it. It's a very close thing, but you have some players who can actually hit it. Now, I've never seen anybody actually do this in a live match. But
I think I've seen Edward do it once.
But Edward, I thought he attempted it once. I don't know if he landed it, did he?
I think, was it during Tech Labs when we had like 7 hours of delay or something, where he did,
where it was like them and like Scream, and like they were all trying to land the jump. Yeah, I remember that. I think that was like the time the first time we saw it or something like that, where they were like really trying to like get a competition going as to like who could land it. Yeah.
But yeah, seems like we're just waiting on a couple of small issues.
Hello again, everybody.
It shouldn't be too long before we get going.
Yeah.
And once we get notice of what's actually going on, we'll give you a shout.
Do we have the sound? Is the sound good? I can hear myself. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
I can hear you too. Sort of. Yes?
That's a good thing, right?
You can hear me? Okay.
It's all good.
Good looking out, guys. It's all good. This is all about teamwork, right? I can count on these guys to get my back. It's all good. All right, so that much is good. Now I feel confident, Ven, to go on and confront the day.
Oh, hell
But right now, I mean, it's this match, and unfortunately we're paused again. So we were so good. We were so good, Ven.
So close.
We were.
Absolutely close. And I'm actually not sure what we're waiting for.
Neither
Everyone
am I.
was on the server, and it seems like, yeah, we're getting back into it. And there we go, don't even have to wait for freeze time.
I know. Okay, so this is looking like This is looking like a pistol. This is looking like a pistol round here. So the knife round has been sorted. It looks like it's going to be Team Orbit starting on the CT side in that case, and Cloud9 starting on the offense, and already they've used their nade. So smoke on connector, that's going to create some options here, and Semphis is going to be putting pressure on short. Team Orbit have given up short control. Instead, they're trying for a crossfire. One man holding main, one man holding CT, and here you go. The focus is on the A site, and Cloud9 are just running right into it. They're already going to clear it up. A quick 1-for-1 trade frag over there, but the bomb is out in the open. The bomb is out in the open. How are they going to get it? Cloud9, how did the bomb end up there?
That's a massive issue actually for Cloud9 right now. They need to basically have to go for kills.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How does nothing just run up there, pick up that bomb, and get out in one piece? I was expecting some kind of like rugby level play where he just like runs back and he gets tackled and drops the bomb to his teammate, and then all of a sudden they get onto that bomb site somehow. Instead, he actually managed to make that mad dash.
Yeah, well, while he did that, you know, Cloud9 did manage to pick up 2 frags. That is actually a pretty big win for them. And right now, the 2 remaining Orbit members are in a bit of a hard place.
Oh man, Jumpy, man, he just gets overwhelmed by the Shroud. The Shroud with the Tech 9, who then taps that bomb. But it didn't want to have anything to do with him. Cloud9, they get him off of it fairly quickly there, and that is going to be the pistol round here for Cloud9. So already 3 pistol rounds in a row for Cloud9 versus Orbit so far in this best of 3. Both of them on Nuke, and now to start things off here on Cash, they're just going to be able to hit the ground running here. Orbit taking a little bit of time with that buy. I thought for a second there was going to be some hesitation, but Maxi and Jumpy, this is that double op play that they can go to right here. So it's already looking like Orbit, the game plan right from the get-go is going to be double op, lockdown, big portions, big swaths of this map.
Yeah, and you can actually tell that they've, you know, put up a fairly decent sized stack towards the A bomb site, and that's where Cloud9 are currently moving.
But the counter smoke goes out. Cloud9 is still going to be able to get out here. Mad shots incoming from Huiten, but he is not going to land with anything. And instead, it's going to be Semphis, Sean Cares, everybody picking up frags. Pyth finally manages to take out Semphis, but that's all he's going to get. And Jumpy is the last man alive here. Long-range P250 battle that he's taking, and he's actually managing to do quite a bit of damage to Shazam. This is a bit scary for Shazam. He just can't land a shot. But Shazam, look at this. All right, there you go. Almost as an afterthought, he gets the headshot. Shazam was just being stubborn at that point, though.
Yeah, exactly. I was, you know, at a certain point, it just turns into disappointment because he's refusing to move. It's like, yeah, I know, you know when you're actually going to be able to land the shot or not, and that's not one of those times. So just, you know, get out, let someone else have a go. Maybe you can steal that, you know, steal the kill from him.
We won't think anything less of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, we'll commend you. Yeah, exactly. We'll commend you because you actually did, you know, a smart thing and not you throw away your AK.
I'm gonna get this guy.
But yeah, they do come out with the round win, so in the end, you know, Cloud9 are going to be happy about that. Semphis picking up early frag onto Pyth. And yeah, Cloud9 are doing a good job of molotoving out the sides, making sure that they don't get caught off guard, and that's why they didn't lose, you know, that many players really in the first round. And same story this time around.
And that is also quite a bit of, I mean, I'm liking the early pressure out here from Cloud9 as well. We'll see how that develops now that the rifles are going to get picked up for Orbit. Double glass cannon AWP. No, Jumpy just has enough for the Kevlar there, so he doesn't have to worry about getting shot. Maxi might have a little bit of trouble there, but the main thing is, are Cloud9 going to keep this fast pressure up, or is it going to start slowing down here? And that's what I'm worried about. I would actually like to see them try and maintain that flow that they've developed so far over the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. Quick push into middle. They've already flashed out Maxi, so he has had to, you know, fall back and a couple of smokes here and there for Cloud9. What I'm curious to see now is where do they want to go with this mid control? Do they actually have a plan, you know, that's gone further than just going, yeah, guys, let's get mid control? From the looks of it, they want to press a B.
Yeah, and they're already managing to get some pressure in. Maxi and Huiten, 2 kills actually coming in here for Team Orbit, but then Semphis does manage to clear Jumpy out of the site itself. Only problem here is they have a single smoke picked up on Shaz. He's going to be able to throw it down, and he's going to use it for upper. So Huiten not going to be as useful now. He's not going to be able to stop that bomb from making its way onto the site. Shroud, in the meantime, has picked up Rogue, so somehow we've wound up in a man advantage situation here for Cloud9.
Yeah, and if they just play their positions right, you can see Semphis with this smoke, you know, laying that down in lower. This should be an easy round for Cloud9. There's no way they should be able to lose this.
And I'd actually like, okay, just as I start saying it, they start edging their way out, but I would really like to see them just back off and hold on to these guns, Team Orbit. Like, you're not going to be able to get in there with so little time. And somehow, Semphis, he's just, okay, that's just brave, I guess. He's like, you know, he feels like he's being criticized a little bit too much. You know, Richard Lewis, you better shut up. I'm going to get those frags.
Yeah, and yeah, that's, you know, I was about to call for that. Why didn't they pick up one of the orbs? from either Jumpy or Maxi, and Pyth goes back for it. So they do manage to keep one rifle and one sniper, so not the end of the world, but obviously Cloud9 off to a great start, similar to how they did on Nuke.
And because of that, they're looking like they're going to be able to actually piece together a pretty reasonable buy here, Team Orbit.
Yeah, Maxi again going glass cannon, but other than that, fairly reasonable. Not like head armor really matters when you're up against only AKs.
A little perplexed by the Zeus buy on Jumpy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay, is he going to pull a nothing, wait up in vents, and just like hope that somebody's going to try and push in there fast?
That is a bit of a risky thing, but especially with the position that he's currently in, it's not like he's actually going to be able to make use of it. So that might just be money wasted.
Let's see, he might have cursed it there. Oh, there's the jump though. Shazams did spot the man in quad boxes at the back of the site. And attempted to preemptively, just chase him out of there or tag him as he tried to get out of there. But it does look like they are going to try and maintain this crossfire position here for Team Orbit. Third man is potentially going to rotate in here on CT side. We see him get the car now.
Yeah, and C9 just pretty much just waiting to dish out the Molotovs and force whatever potential positions that Cloud9 don't like, force Orbit out of them.
Let's see, again with the same A take. Smokes, flashes, the whole kit and caboodle, but Semphis is going to take out Pyth immediately. That leaves Roke alone, although he does have support from CT, but Maxi needs to hold this line. Shroud just comes around the corner and takes his face off, and Semphis will find the man holding in CT. Quick, concise, clear frags coming in there for Cloud9, and that puts him, I mean, this is a massive lead now for Cloud9. First 5 rounds of the half, and they've already got everything they need for their T side.
Oh yeah, and I mean, pretty much identical round to what they did in their anti-ecos. And we talked about it. The one we didn't really see much of on the first map, Shroud. This is a perfect map for him to get hot and really just wreak havoc on players. He's already on 12-0.
That was a bit awkward. Maxi being able to rush up and actually get in Shazam's face. He shouldn't be able to make it out alive, and Semphis will not allow it, but that Pyth does manage to find the headshot on Semphis. So they're doing some good damage here, Orbit, actually managing to get some guns off of Cloud9. But Cloud9 have now stabilized, and nothing will catch Jumpy, who's trying to push B-Halls. Nicely done there. 6th round picked up for Cloud9. But here it is. This is where basically the line has to be drawn in the sand. And how did they do it? 2 ops? No, 3. Half-Life 3 confirmed. That's it.
And I mean, yeah, this is pretty much it for Orbit. If they lose this is most likely going to be a double eco situation. And all of a sudden, you're seeing Cloud9 on a 9-0 lead on the less favored side. That's not what you want to see.
Whoa, gets the tag there on Jumpy. Jumpy barely makes it out in time as well. In the meantime, Shroud is taking out Huiten. That's one of the rifles down. One of the AWPs is getting sprayed down. Maxi just barely making it back onto short, but Jumpy is gone. There's one op off the map, and they've got control of the B site now, Cloud9. And at this point, Cloud9, they should get the plant, and then they should just be hunting. Go after these guns. They've got mountains of cash, Cloud9. They can definitely afford to throw away a few AKs to get these guns off of Team Orbit.
Yeah, basically just have one guy sit on the bomb, 4 others just fan out and try to find CTs. It doesn't really matter at all, actually, if you give away a gun at this point, or a gun or 4. Well, but for Orbit, just one off lost or one rifle lost, that's just a massive loss.
Oh, this is a catastrophe. Maxi is gone.
And they know where Roke is.
Yeah, now they know that he's up in Squeak Door. They've got him boxed in. Shazam finds the shot. That's about as good as it gets. Cloud9 only losing nothing. The one man. And he's got 13 grand in the bank. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Shroud has yet to die.
Oh,
that's how. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, he's at 15-1-0.
Yeah, that's how dire the situation is for Orbit right now. They, can't get enough money to actually buy proper weapons, and Shroud just won't die.
That's a real problem. I was actually worried. I was going to joke about it earlier, saying, well, the double op strat, if the double op strat doesn't work, clearly you need to go to 3 ops. But I take that back. All you need is a 5-7. Pyth, there you go. Case in point.
And pistols confirmed better than all. But yeah, Semphis is going to be able to take out Rogue there. And all of a sudden, the A-bomb side is entirely open. Semphis just keeps it going.
Oh, man, but Huiten, man, steps in with that deagle. And look at this, close up Pyth, 2 kills. Sean Gares is now the last man alive, 1v3. He clears out this portion of the map, but the bomb is still in Garage. They know it is as well. Pyth has got an AK to play with now to hold this angle. And this gets very tricky now for Sean Gares. He's only got 1 flash to work with to try and create some magic here. And unfortunately, his wizard is already dead.
The one saving grace for, one light, I guess, that was in the tunnel of Sean Gares was the fact that, you know, Pythe's teammate was so far away really the entire time. So if he would have been able to actually pick up the frag on Pyth, you know, there's no way he could have actually been punished for it, and he could have more or less picked freely and would have had a pretty good chance of actually getting onto his site and actually getting a plant down. Not that money is an issue for Cloud9 at this point, but still.
No, they're looking pretty filthy rich right now.
Yeah. And again, we're seeing double up setup, but this time, you know, it's Rogue who picks the deal, not Maxi.
What is that? Shroud runs into the fire. Jumpy waiting around the corner is going to take out nothing. He gets a third kill as well on Shongares. Cloud9 just not realizing where they were getting shot from thanks to that silencer. But now Semphis has had enough of the shenanigans. Gonna take a peek in. Picks up the first man. Down to 9 HP though. Still, does he realize it? Oh, he spots him. He knows. And he kills himself. Semphis, he just couldn't take it anymore. Bear the shame. He couldn't bear the shame.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no real words for that. No real words.
He just got so excited, man. He was like a puppy running after a ball. Just ran into traffic. Oh, man, that was bad.
Pitch.
Man, that was bad. Oh, Semphis.
Kittens into a blender. So yeah, Shazam, last man standing. Not really much you can expect him to do right here. Could have actually picked up a pretty easy goal. Yeah.
You can hear everybody too. Ooh, that's a good shot. That was a good shot. They still save both AWPs though on Orbit
Yeah,
side,
but that's
so.
like a pretty typical Shazam round, right? I mean, if one of those two shots should go in, it's the one by by the big box.
See, if like Shazam ever clutches around, you guys can't like. I know it's sick, but I just wish you'd be like, Shazam, afterwards at the camera or something. Like, there you go, bro. Live up to your name.
The old school references.
He's gonna whip out a wand, somehow.
What kind of? No.
Alright.
Semphis starts it all off, picking up Rogue, and the Jumpy's. No, Maxi actually has been tagged down to 2 HP from that initial AWP shot from Shazam. All right, now things are looking pretty good for Cloud9. They do have, 3 Molotovs actually, so we're most likely going to see what we've seen several times whenever Cloud9, walks towards that A bomb site.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but soon there's going to be a sea of fire.
We're looking for it right now. Pyth, he does spot the man in main, but he's already lost his teammate. Semphis takes out Jumpy in the meantime, who's holding a forklift, but there it is. The fire, the flames, and Shazam following up with the AWP. Wait, then getting him to line up and doing tremendous damage, but Shazam will take him out as well, and it's down to Maxi now. 2 HP left on this man, but he's in a 1v2 with an AWP, and he knows one guy is lurking, and he gets the kill, takes out Shaz. Now's the bomb down as well. 40 seconds left, however, means that Shongares does not need to rush this. He can take his time. Does not need to press, and there you go. Patiently waits for Maxi to walk into the crosshairs, and he gets the job done. 8 rounds now for Cloud9.
Yeah, and speaking of patience, that's what Shazam actually should have done in that situation. Just waited for Shongares to push up, and then they could have done, taken the peak together, just to play it, as safe as possible. But Shongares plays it smart and gets another round on the book for Cloud9. Right now, this T side is just absolutely fantastic for them.
Yeah, this is incredible. The complete turnaround from Cloud9. Look at the aggression coming out now. They're just going for the full sneak. Semphis, he's going to take out Maxi, but they have no idea that somebody walked in behind them, and there you go. Jumpy picks up the first man. He will not get the second, however, gets tagged down by that Tech 9, and Shroud in the meantime takes out Pyth with a headshot. So it's going to be down to Rogue, and it's going to be down to Huiten, but there's no Deagle magic this time from Huiten. He gets taken out by Semphis, and Cloud9 seems like a fairly standard, easy round for them, in fact. The aggression from Orbit, it looked exciting there for a second, but it never really panned out into anything. They didn't hit that critical mass.
Yeah, I mean, if Jumpy does pick up those 2 frags inside of Garage, then we could start talking about stuff that, starting to happen. Only, unfortunately for him, Sam was ready with the Tech 9, picked him up, and that just kind of killed the entire hopes of Orbit. But, we've seen bigger comebacks before. If Orbit can start, mounting a couple of rounds in a row here and maybe get 5 or 6, just went out the entire, rest of the half. There's still room for them to do it. I mean, they've shown that they've beaten Cloud9 on Cash earlier, so what, if Cloud9 can get 9 rounds, why can't Orbit? That's kind of the mindset they have to have.
Exactly, but exactly, it's almost like that Nip-esque kind of, it's like we've done it before, we can do it now.
Yeah.
There you go, 1 round at a time. I mean, you have to have that confidence if you're going to be competing at this level.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. See, they do buy up, not the greatest bias of all time, not that many nades, mag 7 on Rogue. Naturally, playing close up towards A main.
This is the ideal position for him, actually getting into a bit of an eco. I like that spot that he was going for. He could go into the boost spot. He decides to change it up, go towards Squeak, and this could be an interesting angle for him to hold. Not going to find anybody there this time, however. Cloud9 have changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're actually just really taking their time, and I'm wondering if they're actually going to pop flush out Shroud and Shazam here into the middle just to get quick control and pick up a few frags.
There we have it. Flashes out, and now Maxi up in the vents, but they should realize exactly. They saw that the vents were shot out. They're like, wait a second. Shanghai is holding that angle. Shroud, however, is going to get taken out by Huiten. That looked like a guaranteed kill for Shroud, but he somehow messes it up, and instead it's Semphis. You're going to get this kill, Semphis. Does manage it, but he does take a little bit of damage in that exchange. Not ideal.
Yeah, and Rogue, having pushed aggressively through door, he's going to be able to pick up Shazam. And I'm surprised that Shazam is actually still hanging around in mid instead of, you know, just dropping down, because most of the action in mid had already, you know, passed.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Nothing with the double, in fact. He takes out Python Upper as well. 9 seconds left here, and the bomb gets planted. Rogue fairly low, nothing tagged up as well, so this is fairly even here between the two. No nades to make use of either. So this is all going to be down now to who holds the angle, who takes the peak, and nothing just pops up and takes Rogue out. Another round for Cloud9 on this T side. 10 rounds on your T side of Cash. This is just a completely different Cloud9 showing up in this best of 3.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, for Orbit, it's the same thing. You get like one kind of mediocre buy going and, you know, grab a couple of kills, and then it's back to eco. So you're just kind of constantly getting gut punched the entire time this game. And it's just a vast difference from what we saw in the first game of the day.
This is it now. Semphis putting some good pressure out. Does he lead properly? There it is. Kaboom. Nice flash, though. Jumpy going to get the job done, and revenge his fallen teammate. Avenge his fallen teammate, rather.
Yeah, and...
we're not going to go full Swinglish here, but, you know, close.
And, yeah, just like that, and as, you know, with the snap of a finger, the entire Orbit team is gone. And, I mean, it's really hard to stay positive, you know, for Orbit at this point, because nothing is really going their way. And it really seems like, you know, the players that have been, you know, not showing up previously today from Cloud9 are actually doing it. Shroud is playing an absolutely amazing game as of right now.
He is the one stepping up, you know. It was nothing this morning. Now it's Shroud. Kind of fitting as well, you know, he's putting them all to rest.
Yeah, and Semphis opens that once again, and he's, you know, been racking up the frags as well here, together with Shroud. And not surprisingly, Cloud9, you know, it feels like whenever they want a round, they just go back to that A setup, and right now it seems like Orbit are just playing so aggressively all over the map that they're actually able to get lots of pickups before anything really happens from Cloud9 side either, so, you know.
They must be feeling so confident. Shroud just pushes forward. Semphis as well. Both of them. There you go. You called their name, Vent. They decide to step up. Another 2 frags for them. And the last man alive is Jumpy over on the B site, about as far away as he could possibly be. And again, they should just leave one guy on the bomb to mind it, make sure that there can't be any kind of shenanigans, sneaky stuff, and they should just be spreading out across this map now to hunt this guy down. Do not let him hold on to that AWP. Do not let him have it for the 15th round. Just make sure that you get this gun off of him. So I really would actually like to see them just pushing more aggressive. Like, throw one guy away just so you can figure out where the guy is holding, and then throw the rest at them.
Yeah. I mean, Cloud9 are going to be able to buy out regardless of what happens, and, you know, unless a meteor strikes. That's...
Meteors, you know, I mean, don't tempt fate, man. We've had big boulders so far this tournament.
That's true. But, yeah. So Cloud9, they could just throw away whatever they wanted. It's not like Jumpy's looking to swap up for an AK anyway. You know, he has his AWP. He wants to continue using that. And again, you know, you feel so sorry for Orbit because they can never get a really proper buy. For Masters, and even though they go with Masters, they're not actually getting enough nades really to hold off. As soon as Cloud9 plays for a bit of time, actually baits out a couple of nades, then the defense of Orbit is just completely gone.
No, well, they're definitely not prepared for this counter boost. That's a big play there. Pyth actually going for it, and he does manage to get a good kill, but Semphis in the meantime with an AWP has picked off Jumpy, and now he has eyes on short. Good patient play there, nobody showing, but then they step into it, and Rogue just gets taken out. Semphis point blank on Maxi, and wait, then he's been spotted out as well. There it is. Semphis with the quad kill, and he looks for the ace, but he is denied. Instead, it will be Shroud picking it up. So 4 for Semphis in the last round, with Shroud capping it all off. I mean, you have the 2 heroes of the first half here for Cloud9. I mean, fitting that they're the ones ending in fine fashion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it's kind of how we felt, you know, watching the game, what was going on. It was basically just something, Semphis and Shroud opening everything up, at, you know, all over the place for Cloud9. And 13-2. I mean, you could believe in miracles, but even this would be hard to really see going Orbit's way.
I agree. I think it's like 22-4 for Shroud right now. Like, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
And now Huiten just making a very quick play here, trying to put the pressure on early. Shazam holding connector, however. Two guys holding solid on the site, but Huiten, long distance, will take out Sempis. This is big. The pressure coming in from Python. They're going to overwhelm Shroud. A defense has been cleared, but Shazam, the 2 headshots as they try and push through. Spots out the third man as well on that site, and it's down to the remaining 2 players here for Orbit. Good timing on the Molotov to buy some time here on short. Just trying to cut off that rotation. Now down to the remaining 2 members here for Cloud9, just rushing up onto the site, trying to keep the pressure up, not let Orbit get into decent positions. But nothing, just connecting. But these guys refuse to die. They keep giving ground. Nothing will finally take out Jumpy and Pyth, soon to follow. The defuse will come in, and Cloud9, this is perfect for them. 13 rounds, soon to be 14, and that winning the pistol as well. This has to prompt a force buy out of Orbit.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's going to be Tech 9 armor. That's really, you know, they just have to bank on it. And it's, you know, it's a shame because normally when you pick up the plan, you actually want to just wait that 1 round, buy up next, and, you know, go from there. But Orbit doesn't have that luxury because they got so few rounds on the first half, so they don't have a buffer.
They don't really have anything right now to work with.
Yeah. That said, like, it's not like a full buy. You know, fully grenaded. No, full grenades and Tech 9 armor is a bad buy at all. But I would have liked to see maybe a couple of Molotovs instead of full-on smokes for all of them. Similar to what Cloud9 pretty much were doing every time they went A.
Well, there it is, the full smoke round coming in here on the A site, and Orbit are going to be able to get into this site control. Sempis just hanging around on the edge, going for the double spray, readjusts, but is not able to pick up the remaining 2. Instead, that's going to have to come down to his teammates, who have plenty of HP. Although, as I say that, Maxi chases nothing back into CT, drops him down to 16 points of health, and eventually takes his life.
Look at the HP of all the Orbit members. So low on HP.
This is very scary for them all. But just, you know, that quick 80-80 action with that Tech 9, and they are going to be able to emerge victorious. Team Orbit, Tech 9 play, and a perfect smoke execution round onto A. And they have 3 rounds now on the map.
Yeah. And this is where, you know, they bring it back.
Gets wild.
The comeback is real.
Yeah, this is it. Okay. What we've all been waiting for. Because now, I mean, we said it before. Orbit, they are capable.
And this is weird to me. Cloud9 actually opt to not force up. And like, if this might be one of the safest scenarios in the history of CS where you can actually force up without no consequence because you have such a big cushion that it doesn't really matter if Orbit starts, you know, if they actually get a round or 2 where you actually take a chance.
Shazam with a little bit of an off timing there. Just no luck. Maxi turns away, but I think there's the double take. He spotted nothing. Nothing is crossing his fingers, hoping he didn't see me. He didn't see me. He didn't see me. I'm going to catch him off guard. That is not meant to be this time around. Instead, it's Sean Gare stepping up with the P250. Up close, looks for another headshot. Not going to connect. And Jumpy will take him out with that Tech 9. And now Orbit have control of the B site. Semphis did spot the man at the back of checkers, but he decides to go for the site instead, and he will get the kill with that CZ75. Nicely done there by him, making this a bit more of an expensive round for Orbit. But they haven't been able to pick up any rifles to actually make use of here, Cloud9. So it's all going to be down to Shroud, and he gets the peekaboo kill on Maxi. Dodges the HE, or the majority of the damage. And does he actually have a gun to work with? Yes, he does. Now he has the AK, and he can back off and hold on to this. It's his little trophy.
Yeah, and actually with the AK saved, I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw them force up with, you know, Shroud's AK, maybe 5-7 buy up, something like that. If, well, you know, they have that luxury if they want to. But most likely we're going to see another eco.
I mean, they could go for it. I mean, they could if they really wanted to, but it does look like they're really just playing it safe.
Yeah, exactly. When they took, you know, the safe route for the first round, most likely sticking by it. And I mean, I think in the eyes of Sean Gears, you know, right now you don't want to mess about and actually, you know, throw this away and actually give Orbit an opportunity to get back into it or start to feel good about themselves. I guess that's, you know, his mindset. So, yeah, nothing against the fact that they're just taking it nice and slowly and trying to play it as safe as possible.
Headshot there onto Huiten.
Yeah.
That's scary. P250 though, it must have clipped through the edge of the wall. We have some decent pressure being applied here. Orbit really taking their time, but Rogue will find the shot onto Shroud, so that's going to weaken the defense here on the A site. Shows that Semphis, they know that he has the AK here, so Orbit have to be a little bit more careful about how they take this site. It is a cartel, though, so I mean, this is the most deadly AK in the world. You got to be careful with it. But they aren't going to manage. They are not going to manage this time around, Cloud9, to inflict any kind of damage here. And Orbit will be able to walk out and get this site practically for free.
Yeah, now it's really up to Sam and Sean Gears to just sit around and wait for someone from Orbit to run into them.
Yeah, Huiten, I mean, I like this. Backing up, no need to take the risk. Jumpy is going to miss that follow-up shot, however. And he really wants to go for more as well. Do they peek together? No, they do not. Instead, Sean Gears is going to get pinned down and cleaned up. It's going to be Shazam to find Pyth. And does he get the AK? Yes, he does. Does he survive? It looks like it. He decides to go for the peek and the one-shot headshot onto Rogue. Very clean work indeed.
And then he gets greedy.
Yeah, that's it. That is it, man. Greed is not good in this scenario. He could have held on to that AK, but I guess for him, he's like, we're all going to be filthy rich in the next round anyways. I guess I can get greedy and go for it.
He's trying to catch up to Shroud and Semphis.
He's got a bit of work ahead of him, though.
Yeah. So yeah, first buy round for Cloud9. And yeah, not surprisingly, an open Shazam. And a fairly standard setup, really, coming out from the CTs. Yeah, just one Molotov on the Orbit side. That's for jumping. Most likely going to be used for...
Oh, wow, that was a great step out there from Nothing. Actually, just catches Rogue off. Split-second hesitation there on Rogue's side, and that's all Nothing needed to pick up that frag. There we go. The man advantage now for Cloud9. Once they've bought up, they start applying the pressure. Man behind Forklift, not going to worry about that Molotov. That's not going to force him out into the open. So Pyth, no joy for him. He's instead just going to attempt to the wall bang through. That's not really going to get anything done here. Instead, Semphis will take out his teammate Jumpy. And Semphis, not sure if he spotted the second man there in main. Looks like it. Tries to hit the timing, but Pyth will take him out first. Well done there by Pyth to keep his teammate alive.
Oh, they're just looking at each other without even knowing.
Do we find the angle here? Does Shroud actually get the job done? Yes, he does. The first one at least. That buys the time for Shazam to step in and take out the second. Headshot coming in from Huiten, though. Takes out Shazam, but it's still a 2-on-1 scenario. Huiten is alone. Bomb in the corner, and only 30 seconds left to get this plant, but he spotted the man out on upper and gets this into a 1v1 scenario. Can Huiten come through for his team and keep their hopes alive in this tournament? That's what it all comes down to right here. But with 20 seconds left, he should be able to get the bomb plant. Instantly cancels out that Molotov. That's going to force him out into the open, but he misses the shot. 16 HP. And now he goes for the plant.
Bomb has been planted.
Does Sean hit this timing correctly, though? Huiten going for the mind games, trying to make noise. Makes him think that this is going to be a squeak play. He just changes up the angle. Now Sean Gears has to be patient. He doesn't have a kit, but he has time still. He can take his time and really work his way around these angles. Huiten just walks around in the perfect positioning, but he bundles it. He shoots into the cases. That's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. He just got robbed.
I mean, you know, he just robbed himself.
Yeah.
Like, he literally just punched himself in the face.
Oh man, that is painful.
But you know, that's kind of how Orbit has felt this entire game. I mean, nothing is really going their way, and you would think like that should be a kill.
Yeah.
So give him credit, that should be a kill, but you know, hitboxes with certain objects are really wonky on some maps.
I'm just like, you got metal there. Half those bullets looked like they went into the metal.
Yeah, but half didn't.
Half didn't, but
I mean, yeah, but still, like that, I think that should be a kill in this game. Unfortunately for Orbit, it wasn't. And yeah, that's just the kind of game they've been having.
yeah, nothing really working their way, even at the end there. That was magical. But now, again, Cloud9 get the advantage. Man advantage here to begin. Shroud has been taken down to 11 HP, but they still look fairly solid. They've got the gear. The Molotov there to force Rogue out. He gets completely blinded. He's dancing on the edge. Still sitting on 39 HP, and he does manage to still pick up a kill onto Sean Gears. Luckily for them, Nothing was right around the corner and is able to instantly return. So Cloud9 maintain the man advantage here.
And look at the aggression from Semphis here. And he's going to be able to catch out Huiten, and now it's all on Jumpy. 1-on-4 situation. Even though Shroud is low, this is a pretty tall order.
Let's see here, Jumpy. He has in store for us. Can he actually get it done in 30 seconds time? Not a whole lot of time to act, really. It looks like he's just going to start pressing forward onto this A site. At this point, Cloud9 could even let him have the site. Just go ahead, plant the bomb. We've got 4. We'll just come at you all together at the same time, and there's no way you're going to be able to survive that. But there it is. They spot him out. 60 health, 15 seconds, and he steps into Shroud's crosshairs. The final frag goes Shroud's way, and Cloud9 will be advancing to the semifinals to face off against Envy tomorrow morning.
Not a bad way to end the evening for Cloud9 because I think they've progressively, at least in this game, they've progressively got better. And the good thing for them is that everyone had a good showing today. Nobody was really left out. Everybody stepped up when they needed to. So, that's a good sign going into tomorrow. Because if they want to have, even a small chance of beating Envy, they need everyone to be on form, on form, and they need to have Shroud and Semfis doing the similar things to what they were, were doing right now.
No, that's it. That's it. I mean, Shroud, Semfis, both of them stepped up. I mean, Shroud, like I said, was something like 22-4 at some point there. So that's just an insane ratio to have. 15-0, like 5 rounds into this. So just insane performance from Shroud. Didn't even need to really step up this time around. He was the star this morning on Cash. He was the one just doing incredible plays. But tonight, it was Shroud's turn to pick up and actually show that he can be that mad fragger that the team needs. And he didn't even have to resort to any of the gimmicky kind of plays either, going in the boost spot and these sorts of things like that we see from him on that T side. It was literally him just walking into sites and imposing his will on Orbit, saying, okay, it's time for you to spin out of control now. Please get off of this site.
Yeah, exactly. Like him and Semfis, really. Semfis did it both on Nuke, the first map, and on Cash as well. So. Yeah, just very solid play from Cloud9, and I think they might have proved some doubters in the desk room, wrong, especially one American doubter.
I know, sure, Scoots, it's all right.
Yeah, the first time you actually lose hope, that's when Cloud9 starts playing well.
I don't blame Richard and Thor, they're just going to do
bad influences.
But Scoots, you gave in. But you know what? Let's go ahead and give Scoots a chance to defend himself, right? So, Scoots, take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I mean, Semler looked there a bit like that Kim Kardashian picture that broke the internet.
He's a little shiny. Yeah. Again,
his
obviously,
cheeks were shiny, Richard.
I'm North American.
No, I see what you did there.
Being a North American, obviously, I'm very pleased to be proven wrong on that prediction. Unexpected 2-0 Cloud9. They did exactly what a team has to do after those kind of losses. Reset. And again, they reset under the hardest conditions, the maps that we were intrigued by. Why the hell would they even want to play them? And maybe that's exactly why they wanted to play them, to say, look, those were just bad maps. That match for us. We're better. Let's just do it again.
It's certainly a victory that perhaps raises more questions than answers in a lot of ways. But here's what I will say. I know there's no doubt a lot of North American people that are going to be criticising me and Duncan for our analysis, which is, no doubt they're going to try and shoot holes in it. Okay, but I will absolutely stand by that map veto was a bad idea. The way that went for them, bad idea. They definitely made it hard for themselves. But actually, I don't think Orbit really were ever in the game. They didn't take advantage. Cloud9 really dominated that tie. They dominated. I mean, that's been their most dominant performance, certainly at this tournament. And actually, within the context of how they've been playing, in 2015, that's probably one of their best performances, especially when you think about the conditions in which they achieved it. You've just come off the back of a mauling against, Virtus Plow. They've run all over you, they've embarrassed you, they've humiliated you. You've got a team that's basically watched that happen, has all that information ahead of you. That team's an unknown quantity that you haven't been able to prepare for whatsoever. So actually, I know we went in on them a little bit before and we were very critical. I still think that's absolutely fair. Yeah. But equally, by the same token, happy to be wrong, because that took a lot of fortitude to come back and to be resilient. And one of the big questions we had going into that game is, do they have a character that can raise their game, that can galvanize the team? Well, maybe they don't, but turns out they don't need it, because actually that's as tough a game, tougher series as you're going to get in these particular conditions for that, contextually.
Yeah. And don't be too hard on yourself, because you have a 50% chance of getting your predictions right or wrong every time. Yeah, there's a little John Madden for you. So
thanks, John.
And again, you guys are predicting. We all predicted based on how they've been.
Yeah. In the meantime, the form. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that played out. Hey, exceptionally well for them.
I would apologise. Like I said, absolutely. Happy to be wrong.
Yeah,
we can only give opinions with the information that are there. And you know what? Isn't it great when a team takes that and just rams it down your throat and says, "What do you?" That's what actually is interesting for an analyst. Like when you're right all the time, like Thorin is, it's really, really boring.
So we got a replay running. This is round 5, right? We missed it, but they saw it.
The thing is,
that's crazy 3-kill.
We started the day out with Cloud9 clinching a series win over Orbit. I think Orbit today found out that things have a way of coming back around to where they started again, and they lost another series to Cloud9. I naively thought that being in orbit would be higher than being on a cloud, but actually it's Cloud9. It's like metaphorical, so it's like heaven. It's higher than.
Well, I mean, their head was fairly in the clouds.
That's my analysis. That's why they pay me the big bucks. You know, I break down the minutia, the detail.
I think B-Rice.
I'm all over it.
Literally fed him too many energy drinks. This is what we get instead of actual analysis about what happened. It's just turgid babble and wordplay, basically.
Yeah, no,
like summoning insight.
No, B-Rice is
Don't
taking.
ever break the fourth wall, Richie. You just revealed my whole formula right there. You know.
No, B-Rice is taking all this to COD Champions.
He's
next
going
week.
off.
Yeah, you watch him next week. Tune in and watch COD Championships and watch our man B-Rice.
But, you know, look, like you say, here's what we'll do while we're running some highlights here.
Yeah, we should. I think one more from Nuke.
You'll notice this is all going to be Cloud9. So again, I've got to give a massive shout out. I think this clip's going to be of
Jordan doing a crazy 180 shot, if I recall.
Would you say in human reactions?
Oh,
in human reactions.
Yeah.
I do not believe that.
Where's Anders when we need him going? Are you kidding me?
Are you
kidding me?
He didn't show up.
Look at that. I mean, artistry. That's like the thin red line.
Considering Jordan's about as old as Mum Ra the Ever Living, I think he's the same age as me. Or perhaps even you, Scoots. I think that's actually incredible.
I mean, that wasn't that great. I mean, he turned and he missed first, then he killed him. So
he pressed the button. Lifted his mouse.
Yeah, he lifted his mouse. He's about to hit the wall.
No, but fantastic. But look, I got to give a massive shout out to Semphis. Like Semphis has been a guy that you've been really, you've been critical of him. And again, I think it's fair. And like I said, this was a player that actually was one of kind of the jewels in the NA crown. He was absolutely immense for them today on these two maps.
This is a crazy one. Round 15.
Very much the MVP of the series overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because we hadn't seen that from him in the first series they played.
And again, here
one that was close, the one where it was just nothing doing it all.
Yeah.
This time, nothing was decent. He had that one crazy round there, but it was mainly Semphis who was carrying him.
But look, just look at that, right? 3 kills with an AWP coming out of the door in that way again. This is what Cloud9 haven't been doing. They haven't had that one person that's capable of saying, don't worry, guys, follow me. Watch the bodies. Step over the dead bodies and let's go plant the bomb, yeah? And Semphis did that. I don't know where he's got that motivation from because, he's pretty poor in the last 2 maps for Virtus Pro. He was good when they beat them on Cobble, no doubt.
Yep.
But actually, in this series, I say probably as good as I've seen him play since back in the day, back in those first majors. So, absolute credit to him. I mean, we're still waiting for Shazam to turn up. I mean, that's the thing. If Cloud9 can now tomorrow, if they can do a full reset and bring Shazam to the table tomorrow, all right, game on. Because let's not forget they're going to be playing Envy.
Yeah, and let's actually talk about that. After this replay, we'll go ahead and bring up the bracket in a couple minutes and start talking about tomorrow.
This was a heartbreaker here, because look.
Yeah, this is crazy.
He's got himself into a 1v1 here. He's going to get the bomb. He's going to plant it. He's going to put a smoke down. He's going to be safe. And you'll see, the way this plays out here, everything goes in his favor. The guy literally starts defusing, and he could just walk out and get a free kill anytime. But he panics, and he sprays into the sort of those barrels that are all tied up there, and he just gets it all into the barrels, and none of it goes through and kills him.
Yeah, and Sean had tagged him, so he lost a bunch of health. So
if you watch the way this plays out, I mean, that's also why he didn't want to peek around. He didn't want Sean Gers to come off, instantly kill him, and then just defuse. So he's taken a gamble, but he's mistimed his spray. Look at this here. That looks like it's on his head, doesn't it? All into the side of it.
He damaged him.
Did some damage, but the guy had full health.
Sean had no idea where he was. A bit more composure they win that round. But again, look, what I will say is, in the end, we've kind of arrived at what we thought was going to happen. Perhaps not in the way we expected, but we have got there. I think Team Orbit can feel quite pleased. I think in drips and drabs they showed good things. In the end, though, that experience for Cloud9 carried them through. But like I say, it's been an adventure. If you're a Cloud9 fan, you have gone through the ringer. If you're a Cloud9 player, you've gone through the ringer today, no doubt about it. But again, credit to them, absolute credit to them for battling through.
And we said they had to get through this group because, first of all, Virtus Pro stand-in, Orbit, last-minute replacements. Well, this is the first time they've been out of a group stage in a European LAN since back at ESL1 Cologne, actually, I think. I think that was the last time they got out of the groups. So even though they've kind of broken it with like an easier group, and of the two, it was the easier group, they still did it. Like at some of those other LANs, they had groups that were manageable sometimes, but they didn't get out. So they've broken it for now. They've broken the bad streak they were on. Now they're up against it. They go up against Envy, though, because Envy was looking phenomenal earlier. Yeah.
And again, I got to give them credit. They proved us all wrong. And again, I think what separates the men from the boys, and again, it's any given Sunday, I'll use my little cliche once, is that turnaround from the devastating loss to, again, the reset and a victory. That's what a championship or a team on that next tier consistently can do is the reset and the win after a loss.
And I hope this series, next time they're up against it, I hope this series actually sticks in their mind. I hope this is like a touchstone for whenever they need to dig deep and have a performance moving forward. That actually, do you know what, guys? We can do this. Like they're a team that really seems to be lacking in self-belief and self-confidence. Performances like that. That's where you start building a history, the memories to draw upon, to have that confidence that these other experienced teams that they're coming up against do. You know, they've been against it. They've been one round from going out of a tournament and then won a triple overtime to go through. That's what the great teams can do. That's the Nip magic.
Here's an interesting factor as well, is just looking at the Cloud9 story in this group today shows you what a great format it is to have double elim best of 3. Because think about how the first maps all went in these series. They would have narrowly lost to Orbit.
Yeah.
So that happens. Now, they obviously wouldn't then have played Virtus Pro, but remember, they beat Virtus Pro in the first map, so then they would have won that series. So these two series are totally off from what actually happened.
Yeah.
And this third one here, even if they'd have then beaten Orbit in the second time they played them, you'd be like, oh, but maybe Orbit were better because of that. But you've seen them play 5 maps now. Cloud9 won 4 of them, and the one they lost, they got to overtime. So actually, convincingly now, Cloud9 showed they were much better than Orbit.
And Nip would have been out as well. I mean, this is what I mean. The best of 3, you know, the GSL format, definitely the way to go. And I'm so glad that we've been able to get over the technical difficulties so we can see how it pans out and how it does it justice, because this needs to be the way it happens, but it can only happen if you can avoid those early hitches.
Yeah, and it's shown it. The method basically has proven itself, the format, because like I say, we got a lot more information. We really know who was the better in these series now. Like if, for example, say Nip had have gone out in that first map, Nip could have been like, it was a fluke, it was a one-off. Yeah. Well, no, they got to play him 2 more. If they'd have beaten them in a best of 3 then, even Nip would have had to be like, no, they were better. They got us that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start talking a little bit tomorrow. We're obviously going to break it down in depth. They're going to bring up some brackets for us, but let's obviously start talking about it. So the first match is going to be Envious versus Cloud9. So again, I don't want to delve too deep, but maybe people can't tune in tomorrow, so I definitely want your thoughts on these matchups.
Well, you go first, brother.
Well, I mean, listen, Cloud9, they picked it up against Orbit there. They looked shaky against Virtus Pro. Envious looked phenomenal against NIP, and Envious is just a very good team. So I feel like this Envious is in a great position to go into the final. I think it's going to happen for them. I think Cloud9's done well to get this far, but I can't think what maps they can play against Envious that they can be favourites on, you know, especially knowing they can't potentially play Cash, which is a great map for Envious. In terms of the other one, now that, even with the stand-in, that should still be a great series, because Nip looked very shaky today. Bad performance against Envy, then looked very shaky against Property. So even with a stand-in, I think Virtus Pro can challenge them there. That should be the more competitive series, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, for Cloud9, you know, to sort of break that, get out of the groups, I mean, that's an achievement in itself. I think they've got to look at, you know, dare I say it, 'cause we're at a COD event, a bit of YOLO, you know, tomorrow. You know, you just got to attack Envious and try and play your game as best you can. I think that'll be a recipe for failure ultimately, but you know, they can take things from it. I think they can still feel proud about the way they've battled through a very tough group and played some good games, you know, when we've written them off as analysts. Virtus Pro Ninjas in Pajamas, man, I don't want to have to call that. Like, that's going to keep me awake tonight. I think trying to predict which way that's going to go, because we've had this series today, we know Ninjas in Pajamas have got problems. I mean, they've dropped maps against Property. You know, they've really struggled. You know, Envious clowned them. I mean, let's be real. And they're going to come up against Virtus Pro, who at one point we were writing them off, going, look, Cloud9 are actually going to roll over them here, and then they just pulled 2 dominant performances out. 10 rounds on T-side nuke. I mean. Yeah. That series is going to be electric and really you know, and we know as well, historically, Ninjas in Pajamas grow into tournaments. When it gets to this stage of the tournament, this is when you see the best from Ninjas in Pajamas. So do we write off today? Do Ninjas in Pajamas have problems moving forward? Virtus Pro as well, a temperamental team. You cannot decide which way it's going to go.
That's the thing as well. Those players, especially going back into their past teams, SK Gaming, Fnatic, they had that champions quality where even if you start slow in the group, even if you are on the ropes, you're about to go out, you sneak through the group stage, but then you get it together in each round.
I mean, Fnatic in 1.6 were so famous.
They were very
for that,
famous.
You know.
People used to literally, the nickname for them was the Lucky Ducks, because they would be in situations where not only did they have to win their last map, but by a big round difference, they also needed someone else to lose, and it would always happen. And then once they got out of that group, every other person who was a tournament favorite was like, oh man, because then they knew they were only going to get better from that on. That was the point. You had to get them when they were weak, you know. So I don't think Virtus Pro can look past Nip and go, oh, the way they played yesterday, we'd smash them, don't worry. Not at all. That's actually two teams that have both shown a little bit of weakness and have a great history of matching up. So that should be a great, great series. And that's another potential final of a tournament, but you're going to get it in the semi-final.
And that's the thing with Nip as well, man. You know, talk about beware the wounded beast, because, you know, I taught to get right at the start, you know, the tournament, and he was like, winning is the only acceptable thing here. If we do not win, anything else is unacceptable. Like, and just resolute in his mindset. God only knows what he's been thinking as they've laboured through the group stage. So there's going to be some harsh language, I think, used back in the hotel room tonight. You know, they really need to step it up. And, you know, there was an opportunity there for Property to deal the killing blow and put Nip out. I'm just wondering if the Nip that comes in against Virtus Pro, maybe they're going to blow him away. I mean, literally, this is what I mean. I don't know how that's going to go, but that series right there is insane. Yeah,
and I think we've talked about it all weekend about the groups being best of 3. I'm equally as excited about this grand final being a best of 5. Because that's obviously not the norm right now either. So very cool stuff. We're going to call it a day. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me all day. Tomorrow, we start at 12 GMT. And, you know, we want you to hashtag all those good stuff. Our hashtag is CS Masters. But again, where you can see all the matches we were doing on the bracket, we are doing a 3rd and 4th place match. That will be streamed as well from the Challenger stage. So we do have 4 matches tomorrow. So definitely tune in. Check us out all day. And again, thanks for watching. We know there's been technical issues. Obviously, a horrendous day yesterday, a very rough start today. So thank you for sticking with us. We hit our stride towards the end of the day. It was great. Knock on wood again that we have a same great day tomorrow. But again, thanks for tuning in, and we shall see you tomorrow.